The chapter begins with what they tell us about the protagonist. He is not only good at school, but also handsome, and that's why all the girls at school love him. They often invite him to go somewhere or become his friend. But he refuses them because he already has someone. She is the queen of the garden among the school flowers. All the guys at school dream of dating her. He looks like a lucky guy, but in fact, he has to work hard to make his girlfriend happy. He often works at a not very good job, for example, cleaning near the toilets in the store. Although Wang Bing has excellent grades, but he has an ordinary family. Wang Bing does everything that can be done to earn money, whether it's tutoring, waiter, or even running errands. A man will give his life for someone who appreciates him, and a woman decorates herself for someone who likes it. He lets her buy anything, and she's really happy. Wang Bin's dexterous mind is used not only in studies, but also in games, and he is also very capable by nature. He finally coped with the game. And although he devoted little time to the game, he coped, even though it took a whole month. At the same time, a window appeared in which they reported that he had passed the test and was invited to enter the post-apocalypse world. But if he dies in the game, he won't be able to return to the real world anymore. Of course, the greater the danger, the greater the reward, so he needs to make his choice. Wang at first thought it was a hoax, but then he thought about the offer. He understood that if he died, he would not return to reality anymore, but if he held out the most, he could get a big reward. He can easily pass the game, so he decided to agree. Clicking on consent did not happen, and he began to get angry that he actually believed in this nonsense. He was immediately congratulated for making the right choice and asked to familiarize himself with the rules of this system. After reading them, he realized that he could move things from there to the real world. He was glad that he would be able to pick up precious things and move them into reality. 4 hours left. Therefore, he should hurry up and buy the right things for 7 days. But last week he was on a date with Xiao Qin, and therefore there is no money. He came to his friends who were playing games and they were very happy about Van. He asked them for money and of course they agreed to help him. He asked them what about their living expenses, but they just pushed him out the door and said they understood why he came to them so late, and also that the brothers understood him and let him be careful. He knew something was wrong, but friends thought that Van wanted to take the girl on a date. At the same time, the protagonist tightly squeezed the money and promised that when he got rich and returned from that world, he would definitely have fun with them. He collected a whole backpack of things, and all this should be enough for 7 days. He also took a shovel with him to use it to find a shrink and also defeat enemies. He understood that having gone to another world for 7 days, there would be only one in the real world. But he still wanted to call Xiao Qin. He dialed her and she answered. He warned her that he would leave tomorrow for the whole day and return only the day after tomorrow. At the same time, she said she wanted to talk to him, but he added that when he arrived, then they would talk. She said she would wait for him and blushed deeply. After we are shown that she is sitting in the car with an unknown guy and after he touches her leg. But she only said that no one had called and she wanted to continue. At this time, Van was thinking why did she hang up so quickly and that nothing was happening. Then he started shaking and immediately cleaned up in another place. He realized that this is a real journey through time and space. The protagonist looked around and realized that since this is the post-apocalypse, then there must be Walking Dead. Looking out the window, he saw a huge horde of zombies. He thought he had enough resources for 7 days, so if he wants to find something, then he needs to explore this world and find out more about it. After that, Van gives the first advice. Always keep a sapper shovel at hand in case of a crisis situation. Cleaning tip 2. Choose a road with fewer Walking Dead for safe movement. Tip 3. When zombies are concentrating on something, don't distract them. Tip 4. Absolutely avoid unnecessary battles. Tip 5. Use the sensitivity of walkers to sounds to distract them. When he distracted the zombies, he realized that nothing like this would happen to him in this world as long as he avoided zombies and searched for treasures. But it seems to him that someone is following him. He assumed it was either a sentient kind of zombie, or it was a real person. He understood that in this world people are scarier than zombies, so he wanted to hide. He didn't know if it was the local indigenous population or if they were the same people who came like him. It doesn't matter who they are. All that matters is that they might want to kill him and take all his things. He understood that if he died, he would not be able to return to the real world. The only thing he can do is climb up. He sat in a corner and waited. It doesn't matter if it's a human or a zombie, he definitely has advantages in this area. He waited, but no one came up. He looked up and saw the fish. It turned out that it was a girl. She pointed a knife at him and ordered him to leave all the food, or she is not responsible for herself. He refused her and then she said that she would be much rougher with him. She gave him 3 seconds to hand over the food, or else she would kill him. He immediately realized his mistake. He had to leave the bag somewhere and explore the area without it. But he understood that it was just a girl. Therefore, he is confident in himself. He immediately hit her with a knife with a shovel and she jumped back. Pouncing on her, he shouted that she was the first to try to rob him, so let her not blame him. but she concentrated and saw his weak points and attacked them. And he flew against the wall and she pinned him down and warned him if he moved, she would cut his throat. At the same time, he said that there are canned meat and dried food in the bag, so this food is enough for two. And he invited her to work together. She immediately drooled, just from the mention of canned food. And Van noticed this. He thought that all the people here were crazy. He knew this was his chance. The girl asked him to give her meat and he used a taser. She fell down and Wang told her that although she was very hungry, but she should not have robbed him and threatened him. But he still felt sorry for her, and he left her food and water. In return, he borrowed her dagger and left. She took the meat and water and was very surprised. She thought, who is he? Wang understood that he needed to find a place to hide. In this post-apocalyptic environment, people are really more frightening than zombies. At the same time, two bandits appeared in front of him, who told him to give them all his belongings and then they would not kill him. Wang realized that the commotion had attracted the others. He was immediately attacked from the side by a man, but he managed to defend himself. They all attacked from the front and from behind, but even with a stun gun he would not have coped. Others rushed at him and shouted that there was probably a lot of food in his bag, or they would just eat him. Because of this, Wang got very angry and took out a knife. The bandits started shouting for them to stop the bleeding, otherwise the smell of blood would attract zombies. Wang immediately wanted to take advantage of the moment and run away, running into the alley. He got into a dead end and immediately other bandits appeared. The wounded villain wanted to tear off his hand, and the head asked how dare he hurt the members of the gang, Tiger Head. The situation was not very good for him and Van understood everything. The girl was sitting on the roof of the house and realized that he was just a beginner. She jumped off the house while the bandits approached him threateningly to kill him. She took a brick and began to sneak up, while the head said that she would torture him very slowly. She showed him not to make any noise. A second later, they turned around and saw that she had a broken head. Then she jumped down from above and hit the back of her head, but she immediately realized that they were very strong. Wang was pleased with this, but the head noted that he had trained in the Iron Head technique. She asked to return the dagger to her and Wang understood that he would rather die at her hands than be eaten by them and threw the dagger to her. When she grabbed the dagger, she saw the weak points and cut his neck. Wang was shocked, even though they were cannibals who deserved to die, but it was the first time he saw someone being killed. Other bandits were very scared and scattered. He told her that she needed to finish them off, because if they ran away, they would be in trouble, but she grabbed him and said that now was not the time, and called him with her, because now with this noise and the smell of blood, a completely new wave of zombies would come. She dragged him along and Van realized that she was a good person. If he doesn't mind her, then she can be his assistant for the rest of her life. Zombies were already walking everywhere, and they were already in the house. They ran for an hour, but Van was glad that he ran every day at school. He said he was safe now because of him, and they put a knife to his throat. He asked why she was doing this, because they were on the same side. She replied that people tend to betray others. She asked him to put an electric thing on the floor. He did so and she threw him away. And Van realized that she was still angry about the taser. He told her if they got along, he would give her more delicious food. He took out all his supplies and said that if she helped him stay here for 7 days, he would give it all to her. Seeing this, she was just shocked. At the same time, he thought that it was good that he took food with him in reserve. But this is only half of what he has, and he still won't eat it all alone. She started crying and asked who he was. She asked him where he got it all, but he replied that he couldn't say yet, but she had to believe him. He only needs to stay here for 7 days, and if they see each other again, he promises to give her more food. She understood that she should have killed him even earlier, but he left her precious food and water, which no ordinary person would have done. She agreed with his proposal and added that if he did not want to tell, then there was no need and they made peace. She immediately warned that this was her room and he could not enter there without permission. And behind him is his room. He said he couldn't beat her anyway. After that, he invited her to meet and introduced himself. Her name is Guan Xiu. Van Bin understood that it was not surprising that she was afraid. After all, she has been in this world for a very long time. Already in his room, he realized that everything was so exciting here, but now everything has settled down. Xiao had closed all the windows, so it was safe here, despite the fact that everything is covered with dust. Judging by the interior, rich people lived here. At the same time, he decided to examine the bedside tables, but there was nothing. There's nothing in the closet either. Van realized that a lot of time had passed and everything could have been stolen for a long time. And immediately he found the decoration. He didn't know if they were real, but they had to be expensive anyway. He understood that if he sold everything, he could become fabulously rich. He had already dreamed of returning to reality, marrying a goddess and living in luxury. But before that, Wang decided to first ask Xiao if these things did not belong to her. He went into her room to find out everything, but she was changing clothes at that moment and was naked. He began to tell her about the stones more and more quietly and immediately apologized and ran away. She also thought that he wanted to return all the food that he gave her. Van understood that it was still a girl's room, so he needed to knock next time. She asked her through the door if she could sell him the jewelry that was in his room. After leaving the room, she asked what kind of jewelry. She told him that these things were useless, so he could take them. She explained to him that there used to be an elite area here, so there are a lot of such decorations in every house, but why would he need them? If they cannot be eaten, they cannot be exchanged, and they will only become a burden for him. Wang explained that they were very useful for him and asked if there were exactly a lot of such ornaments here. She didn't understand him, but since he gave her a lot of food, she would show him everything. He thanked her for her help. At the same time, she said that she would be glad if he gave her another can of chips. After that, he had a bunch of different jewelry. All this cost millions of dollars. He wondered how many years it would take him to earn that kind of money in the real world. He asked her again if she really didn't need all this. At the same time, she remembered that there was a safe nearby and invited him to look. Wang understood that there might be even more valuable things there. Zio said that she tried to open it, but nothing came out. Usually these valuable safes are connected to an alarm system that automatically alerts the police about several cases of incorrect code entry. But now that the electricity has failed, they have enough time and they can take their time. He kept trying to open the safe and Zio said she would go look for more jewelry in other places. After a while, he was able to open the safe and there was a lot of money, gold and jewelry lying there. The necklace must have cost a lot more than all the others. He also wanted to take the gold, but such money did not circulate in their real world and therefore threw it away. He decided to take everything with him. When Zio returned, he was already looking at the gems. She asked him why he was staring at these stones if her candy is much better. At the same time, he explained to her that he knows how to make these things worthwhile, and then he can exchange them for this food. At the same time, she wanted to help him find even more of these things if he would give her more food, but he didn't know if he would see her again next time. Then he asked the system if it could hear him, and she said yes to him. He said that 7 days have already passed and he is leaving here, but when he appears next time, where will he appear? Then it was explained to him that he would appear next to the place where he first appeared. Then Wang told her that as long as she helped him collect gold and jewelry, he would continue to bring her all kinds of goodies, and Zio agreed. But it seemed to him that he was cheating a little, because he was trading food for gold. Zio said that the city has almost run out of food, and the only food that can be eaten now is food that looks like dried rats. Food like his is a real luxury. At the same time, he asked her why she did not sow the land and build a strong defense network. She said that over the years, the government has created several human colonies. It is surrounded by high walls, heavily guarded, and zombies cannot get inside. Everyone who survived is trying to get to the places where people gather, but unfortunately, very few get there. The government is working to solve the problem of the virus, developing the colony, in fact, achieving self-sufficiency. But even there, people barely survive and it is impossible to return to the old standard of living. At the same time, she asked him what he was doing. Wang said that he is a merchant from a distant country and his job is to collect jewelry and gold and exchange them with the surviving members of high society. At the same time, she added that if he wanted to pick up, she would take him there during the day, and that he would not go out alone at night. Immediately, someone yelled and Zio said that someone stepped on a trap outside. They were tiger head people. They understood that if there are traps here, then there are people here. He immediately realized that these were the people of that gang, and he once again regretted that he had not killed those bandits. She told them to get out of here quickly. At the same time, the bandits discussed her and the one-eyed bandit said that he often saw her here. The boss was very angry at her and ordered her to be found alive in order to personally kill her. Ban asked her what they should do, because there are so many of them. Zio realized that they found out that she was here because of the fact that she often visits this area. They couldn't stay here anymore. She would show him another safe place. Elsewhere, there were a lot of zombies on the ground floor, but they were safe. At the same time, he decided to play a little on the phone so as not to listen to the screams of zombies. She was surprised that his phone was working. Then she asked if she could listen to some music. He gave her headphones and she started listening to music. Van was glad that she was starting to return to her former self before the apocalypse happened. He sat next to her and listened to the music. Zio recognized one song and started crying, remembering happy days with her family. She remembered her little self, her father and mother, and how happy they were together. After that, she gave him the earphones so that he wouldn't waste a lot of energy. He asked her why she was crying. Then Zio said that she had not listened to music for a long time and she brought her back to the days when she was with her parents. Wang understood that all these years, she had suffered a lot. He gave her the earpiece again and told them to listen to this song together. He promised to bring her another phone and some charged batteries next time. And she was very happy and grateful. Wang was very surprised. He didn't even notice how cute she was. His heart started to flutter a lot, but then he calmed himself down because he has Zhao. and they continued listening to the music. They sat there all night and the flowering had already begun, and they fell asleep together listening to music together. In the morning, she explained to him that Tiger Head is one of the 4 largest gangs in the city, and they run the western part of the city. And those 3 men who surrounded him last night from this very gang. Here they are the most powerful in the area. If there hadn't been so many zombies that time, they wouldn't have let them escape. The leader of the gang is a tiger. He has about 60 people, and they have about a dozen guns, so they are pretty strong. They are based in the tallest building on the west side of the city, in the colorful Estao, which is staffed by a large supermarket. They took over this building, and now they own all the paraphernalia there. Wang understood that since there were so many of them and they had weapons, they would not be able to take revenge on them. Zio also added that Tiger Head has 3 other gangs in the city. Among them is the most powerful gang of Wild Sands, located to the east of the city. Its leader, Sin, has more than 100 men and 20 guns. Next in strength is the Giant Bear Gang in the north. The leader is Brother Xing. Although they have more than 40 men and 7 or 8 guns, but they have acquired a lot of powerful explosives and grenades. The most powerful gang is the Flying Eagle Gang in the south of the city. Its leader, Brother Fei, has less than 60 people in his hands and only a dozen or so guns. But they say that each of them is so strong and capable that other gangs do not dare to mess with them. Therefore, even if they are the weakest, the other 3 gangs do not dare to provoke them. As a result, 4 gangs are responsible for their part of the city, and they do not want to encroach on each other. In the coma of these 4 gangs, there are only a few stragglers who gather in groups, or they live alone, like Sayo. There are probably less than 1,000 of them in the city now. Most of the original 2 million people here have turned into zombies, and some have fled the city to other places. After that, he asked her if she knew where the city storage was located. Zio explained that the bank was robbed right after the apocalypse, and all valuables were seized, and now it's useless. But the most likely place to hide the gold is in the building where the Wild Sands gang is located. Previously, there was the largest bank in the city. Money was sent for storage under close supervision. Wang understood that it would be difficult to steal gold from there, and Zio confirmed this, saying that the Wild Sands gang could not be deceived. At the same time, the protagonist replied that he was not stupid enough to beat eggs on stones. The next few days, he and Zio stayed in this house and did not go out. Over the past few days, he has occasionally seen people passing by below, and it seems they are members of the Tiger Head. But since the building was surrounded by zombies, those people did not dare to approach him, much less think that someone dared to live with walkers. Very quickly it was time for him to return to the real world. He told Zio that he had saved all this food and drinks for her. At the same time she said how he would survive if he gave her all the supplies. He told her not to worry, but just to take food and water and hide. He will be gone for 7 days, so I asked her to take care of herself. He'll be back for her in a week. She hugged him. She asked him to stay or take her with him. He apologized to her, because he had to leave for 7 days and she had no way to take her with him. But he promises her that he will return in 7 days and bring her more food and other useful things. He asked her to take care of herself before he came to her again. Wang understood that he shouldn't have told her where he was going back. But the last few days together made it clear that Sayo was a reliable person because he was the one who got her into trouble. When he returns to the real world, he will sell all the jewelry and gold and bring her something nice next time. At 12 o'clock in the morning, she ran into his room, but he was no longer there. At the same time, we are shown a park where a young couple is planning to do a pleasant thing and Van got out of the bushes screaming. Noticing the couple, he apologized and told them to continue. For him, the ordinary world was a paradise compared to the post-apocalyptic world. He decided to tell Zhao that he is rich and take her to a luxurious world. After calling on the phone, she said that she was now looking at the house with her family, so she would call back later. Immediately, her other young man appeared. He told her if she told him everything, he would help her with the down payment for the apartment. She told him to come to the Golden City, and he agreed. Wang wanted to sell jewelry and gold first, and then buy Zhao a villa and surprise her. When he came to the jewelry store, he turned to the girl. He asked to call the manager, but he stank a lot, so she told him to talk to her. She thought it was another student who came to ask for help. He showed her the stone and asked her to examine it. The girl thought it was a fake and said she could call the police. It was very noisy and the chief came out of his office. She started chasing him away, otherwise she would call security. Wang was not happy because she didn't even look at the stone, but she had already called him a liar. At the same time, Manager Zhang decided to look at the stone and Wang showed him and he was very surprised. The girl also said that he was creating problems. Then he ordered her to close her mouth and make him tea. The manager asked for his name and escorted him to the VIP room. After examining this stone, the manager asked him if he was selling this gem. At the same time, Wang told him to name a price for it and if it was too low, he would go to another place. But if the price satisfied him, he would sell the stone to him. The manager understood that even though this guy is so sloppy on the outside, But he has the audacity to walk around with such a precious stone and he is so calm. He was afraid that it would be difficult. The manager understood that even though this guy is so sloppy on the outside, but he has the audacity to walk around with such a precious stone and he is so calm. He was afraid that it would be difficult to negotiate with him. Wang thought that he should say less so that he would turn away from him. He did not understand why he did not name the price and thought that he overdid it, and the manager offered him 9 million. Van was surprised and asked again. The manager thought that this was not enough and he decided to add another 500,000. He explained to him that in order to sell the stones, they must pay not only for design, processing, expenses and so on. Van was very happy about this and restrained himself with the last of his strength. He was willing to sell it for that amount. He explained that if it were not for the difficulties in the family, he would not sell it. Zhang asked what kind of family he was from, because the surname Wang belongs to the noble and generous, but the protagonist told him that he did not need to know. He also added that he has 9 precious stones that he can sell, whether he needs them, and the manager was very happy and said he needed all of them. In the end, he sold them everything and left. The manager scolded the girl because she almost broke a big deal, so she won't see the bonus this month, and if he comes again, she should serve him very well. He had 64 million in his account. Only yesterday he was a poor man, but already today he has so much money. He also has gold bars, but he will sell them in different companies so that no one suspects anything. The taxi driver asked where they should go and Van replied that to the realtor's office of the Golden City. Afterwards, when he entered the building, he felt uncomfortable, even though he had millions in his account. But now he's a different person, so he can buy a villa for his parents in Zhao Qin. And he met her. He saw Zhao with a guy and asked who he was. The guy started laughing that this beggar was once Zhao's boyfriend. Other people immediately noticed that something interesting was about to happen. People discussed him and thought that he was a migrant worker and that the security here was bad. Zhao said that they were breaking up. She added that she had found someone who would take care of her and was even now buying her a house. Therefore, if he loves her, he should let her go and live happily. At the same time, Wang said that he could also take care of her and that they spent a lot of time and didn't that mean anything. Zhao replied that she wanted to break up in a good way and why it was necessary to arrange such a scene. At the same time, the guy told Van to be polite and not point fingers at him, otherwise he would break them to him. He wanted to answer him, but Zhao intervened, who asked him to stop because he could not win. He slapped him and started mocking him, and Van decided not to stand it and kicked him in the chest and he flew into the wall. Wang started yelling at him, but Zhao hit him for it and said again that everything was over between them and that she would never be with someone like him again. She ran up to him and asked if everything was okay, and Van realized that all these years of relationships were nothing before buying a house. At the same time, the guards appeared and asked him to leave here or it would not seem enough to him. At the same time, he asked why they would introduce themselves to the client in this way. The manager replied that the cheapest apartment here costs from 5 to 6 million. Therefore, even if he does not eat and drink, he will not be able to afford to buy an apartment here even in a year. Wang added that is 6 million a lot. At the same time, another manager appeared and asked him not to show off. He reproached the girl that she could not cope with one child. Wang said he wanted to buy a house here, but he's not in the mood right now because of the attitude of their staff. The manager said that he was a sales director and asked for their forgiveness. But if he was cheating X, then he would have to call the police. Wang replied that he would like to buy a house here, but everything is low grade, so he is not interested. The director and manager were shocked and angry at the same time because of his words. Other visitors thought how much he could pretend and it was interesting. He turned to Zhao. He hopes that she will not regret her decision in the future and wished her a long life. Leaving, the director grabbed him and asked what kind of apartment he was looking for. He said he needed a house worth at least 20 million. The manager's girlfriend started yelling at him even harder and asking who he thinks he is. The director wanted to remove the mask of a liar from him and said that they had one suggestion. There is a newly built villa near the Emerald Lake, the cost of which starts at exactly $20 million, so if he wants to see it, they can show it to him, but the manager asked to show what he will buy it with. Van agreed, but if he proves it, then these three should crawl on their knees to the main room. The girl didn't want to, but the manager said there were no problems. At the same time, Zhao's boyfriend woke up. He hit her and called her names and wanted to rush at Wang, but he threw a real gold bar at him and told him to shut up, because he was too noisy. The manager immediately noticed that he had hit him with a real gold bar. People thought he was real or not. Zhao tried to wake up her beloved and Wang turned to her. He said that she doesn't know how to appreciate someone who loves her, and that she was unworthy of him and said goodbye to her. The manager was wondering if it was a real ingot or not, and the girl was shouting to the guards to grab him. He showed them his phone and account and added that it was one of his many accounts with the least amount of money. The girl suggested that it was just a photo, but the director said that now he was their most respected guest and their deal was still in force. The director ordered these 3 to get down on their knees and crawl around 3 times or else he would fire them. They were very scared of him and were in shock. Other people realized that Wang is really rich and that you can't judge a person by appearance. They started crawling and Wang added that they should crawl 100 laps, and people started taking pictures of them and laughing. After that, Van was already in the shower and thinking about everything. He bought a luxury villa worth 30 million. Not in a fit of anger, but only because he needed a safe and secluded place. He needs to prepare well for the next return, because there is still a lot of jewelry waiting for him. After that, in the morning, in the university park, his friends discussed Wang Bing and hoped that nothing had happened to him. They knew that he had hit Li's son, and he would definitely take revenge, so they were worried. They kept calling him, but he didn't pick up the phone. At the same time, he received a message and he thought that these were scammers who were constantly sending him messages. It said that his bank account was replenished by 1 million and another friend received exactly the same message. A friend even wanted to check the banking application. Suddenly they got such happiness. And in fact, they had 1 million in their account and were very surprised. They were immediately called by Wang Bing and asked what happened to him. He was driving in the car and said that he was returning to his home and asked if they had received the money. They were shocked that he had transferred the money to them. Wang Bing asked to accept this small amount. At the same time, a friend started shouting at him and saying that he was worried about him, but Wang replied so that they would not worry and believe that he had won a lottery ticket. They also decided to find out how much he earned, and he replied that about 100 million, and of course his friends were shocked. They were very grateful to him for this act, but Wang explained that they always helped him and extended a helping hand. This is nothing compared to this. They still have a lot to do in the future. After they found out that he broke up with Zhao and beat Lai, his friends advised him that even though he was God now, it would be better for him to hide. After all, Mr. Li is powerful, and he will definitely want to take revenge on him. He asked them not to worry, but first he has things to do at home, and then he will buy them a drink when he arrives. When he arrived home, he remembered that he used to work constantly or was busy studying to be with Zhao, so he didn't come here so often. His father and mother were waiting for him at home and were very happy. Because he arrived abruptly, they thought something had happened to him, but he told them that he had won a lottery ticket and brought some money home. He didn't want to hide it from them, but if he told them about the post-apocalyptic world and what was happening there, they would think he was schizophrenic. This time he came here not only because of his parents, but another person. He went to his uncle and said that he had a request for him. He also brought a bottle of good vodka. Uncle realized that he needed something, so he told him to spread everything and not waste time in vain. In his youth, he loved hunting. He had a shotgun and an air rifle at home. The government has tightened the requirements for weapons in recent years, so Uncle Zhao rarely goes hunting in the mountains. Van wanted to buy his air pistol. He immediately asked why he needed it and that he did not do anything illegal. Wang also said that soon he and his friends will graduate from university, and he and his classmates have found a remote place for an internship. And he heard that there are a lot of small animals there, and they decided to shoot at them, so he decided to buy his uncle's air pistol. At the same time, he said that as long as he would not use it to kill people, he would borrow it, and there was no need to tell him anything about money. He asked him to wait while he looked where he was. He doesn't need this gun anymore, so let him take it. Wang was surprised, because this is the first time he sees a real rifle. It is powerful enough to kill a boar. He also gave him this anesthetic and an intoxicant. He told him to be careful with her, because if you inhale too much, you can die. He also told him that they should not be seen. Otherwise the weapons would be confiscated, and there would be a fine or worse, a prison sentence. And Van thanked him for everything. After he took an air pistol and left his parents some money, he returned to the city. This time, he not only cooked enough food, but also bought a mobile phone and 10 fully charged batteries for Zio. In addition to the weapons, he bought new 7 heads and a machete, and also took the detonators they used to blow up the mountains. 1 day in the modern world is 7 days in the post-apocalypse. He doesn't know what happened to Zio in those 7 days, but he hopes that she wasn't captured by a gang. Teleportation began. Then a mention popped up that a living person was found 10 meters from the specified place, and they asked him if he wanted to teleport there, and he agreed and teleported. He was glad he was back, but this time he wanted to carry more. Zio had 1 bag of food left and she could no longer save and therefore cried. He opened the door and said he promised to come back and he's here. Zio started crying because he didn't leave her. She ran up to him and hugged him and started crying a lot. She was glad he was back. He asked her to calm down because he had brought a lot of delicious things with him, so he wanted to eat and talk, and she thanked him. Then he noticed the wounds on her and asked what happened. She said that the boss of the Tiger had announced a reward for them. Now everyone is looking for them. She was worried about him, so she went out to find out something about him and was almost ambushed a couple of times. Wang understood that she didn't know how he left, but she risked her life for him. He hugged her and promised that he would make them pay for what they had done to her and that he would wipe out this gang. and she was very happy. Then he showed her what interesting things he had brought. She was pleased that he took an air rifle with him, because with it you can kill bad guys and zombies. He is also silent, so he will be hers. She thanked him, because she had always wanted such a weapon. He also brought a lot of goodies. These stocks are enough for a month for the two of them. She immediately attacked the beef and was very happy. At the same time she asked why he wasn't eating. He replied that he wasn't hungry, and that he liked to watch him eat. But in her opinion, this is not right, and she told him to eat. He also gave her a phone, and she was shocked that he was just giving her a phone. And he also gave her 10 charged batteries, and they will all last for a long time. She was happy and started crying. He asked her why she was crying, and Zio explained that when the post-apocalypse came, her parents died and no one treated her so well. He also asked her not to cry and to enjoy the music along. During his absence, there was less and less food. There were also clashes between tigers and bears, but only a few people were injured on both sides. A few stragglers are also leaving the area in search of a government colony. I think now is the time. They decided to practice and shot at the poster, and Zio shot pretty well. She also said that the power and firing range of an air rifle are a little small, so it will be difficult to shoot down a person at 50 meters. He told her that it was okay. You just need to shoot at close range. It would still be difficult to see this gun, and there was no sound from the shot. But she didn't know if the two of them could destroy the Tiger Head gang and the Wild Sands gang. Wang was all confident, because he didn't want to fight them directly. He needed to pit them against each other, and tonight they would just help them a little. Then he asked about the gold, because it is not needed and is most likely stored in a bank vault. You need to enter the bank building, preferably with a gang of wild animals, and destroy them at a time. His goal is to wreak havoc among these 4 gangs. This way it will be easier for him to find a safe place to store gold. But Zio didn't know how they would do it, and that's why he brought the detonator. Only the bear gang has explosives and grenades. If he uses a detonator to blow up the Tiger Head gang's warehouse, then their people will definitely blame it on the bear gang and start a war. Zio was inspired by this plan and wanted to kill everyone with someone else's hands. The only problem is that there should be a lot of guards in a place like a warehouse, so it would be difficult for them to sneak in. Zio replied that there is no electricity in the evening, and they go to bed at 8 or 9. She also knows this place very well. There are so many entrances and exits, and they won't be able to guard them all. When she told him the plan, Wang was pleased and said that since they were chasing them, then I would know their anger for myself, and they were going to act at night. Already at night they climbed through the window, and the protagonist was surprised that there was no security in such a place. There was only one person on duty who was asleep. Van told her that she needed to go up to the 5th floor, because if there is only one guard on the 1st floor, then all valuables will be where the most guards are, that is, on the 5th. The 4th floor should be the place where the elite and key gang members stay, and their leader, Tiger, lives on the 5th floor, where supplies are stored. And so their goal is to get to the 5th floor, find a place where supplies are stored, and blow it up. They definitely slipped past the sleeping guards and went on. Already on the 3rd floor there was a guard, and they had to crawl on their haunches, and Van tried not to look at his girlfriend's ass. On the 4th floor, they had to use an anesthetic to knock out the guard. Already on the 5th floor, they noticed 2 bandits who were discussing supplies among themselves. There are fewer and fewer of them, and even they don't think they can hold out for more than a month. Therefore, they planned to capture the bear gang, because without it they would simply starve to death. But the problem is that they have explosives and grenades, so it will not be easy to take them. So the bandit believes that they need to take food and evacuate from here. At the same time, the bald man told him not to talk like that, because if the tiger hears him, he will be in trouble. Wang understood from the conversation where the tiger's room was located. The bandits went to the toilet, and Zio and Wang came to the room. They heard snoring and realized that he was asleep. The next room was locked, so he realized that it was a warehouse. At the same time, Zio said why would they interfere if they would sooner or later arrange a battle between themselves. Wang replied to her that in 7 days he would go home again, and the bandits had supplies for another month, so time was running out. The easiest way to force them to fight is to make it impossible for them to retreat. Wang understood that the tiger had the key, and they would not be able to find out what was behind the door until they entered there. Zio asked him not to worry and took out the wire. She can open any lock with it, so it's not a hindrance for her. Wang was very surprised and thought she was amazing. At this time, zombies crawled into the building from behind an open window, and their sound woke up the guard on the 1st floor and screamed loudly. The bandits heard the scream and realized that something had happened on the 2nd floor and ran there. At this time, Zio had already opened the lock, and it turned out that it was indeed a warehouse of supplies. He wanted to plant dynamite and leave, but Zio hugged a bag of rice and wanted to take one with her, since they would destroy everything anyway. The protagonist asked her not to take it, because it is heavy and it will be harder for them to retreat, and they have plenty of food. At the same time, they immediately heard a scream that a group of zombies had made their way into the building, and Zio realized that it was their fault. The bandits knocked on the tiger's room and shouted about zombies, and the boss opened the door and hit the bandit in the face. He also said why bother him when he was sleeping. The bandit told him everything about the zombies, and the tiger was surprised that the zombies were able to get into such a guarded place. He immediately noticed that the doors to the warehouse were open and entered there. Wine was spilled on the floor, and because of this he was very angry. Then he noticed the explosives, and they immediately went off and exploded. Tiger realized that they had used explosives to blow up his supplies and started yelling because of the bear gang. At this time, Zio and Wang were moving around the ventilation and eavesdropping on the bandits' conversations. Van was glad that everything ended well and their plan worked. After that, they wanted to start a war between Wild Sands and Flying Eagles. Then they went out in some office and immediately a horde of zombies appeared. She deftly shot zombies, but there were too many of them. She decided to distract them on herself, but she was noticed by a bandit who was running past. He realized that this explosion was not caused by a bear gang, but by this girl. She shot him right in the face. There was a bandit in front of her, and zombies were shaking hands behind her. He almost bit her, but Wang cut off the zombie's head. He told her it was better to use cold steel against zombies and gave her her dagger. Wang also added that he has killed a lot in games, but this is the first time he has encountered such a situation in real life. They need to come back alive. Now they will be comrades in arms, and they rushed straight at the zombies. After a while they coped with everything and were already at home. Wang was glad that there were fewer zombies than he expected, otherwise they would have died. Because of all this fighting, Zio was very hungry, and Wang gave her a packet of chips and invited her to celebrate the successful completion of the plan. He brought a bag of supplies and Zio attacked all the food. Although Wang had known her for a long time, he was still shocked with her appetite. He opened the beer and started drinking it, and Zio wanted to try it as well. At the same time, he was indignant, because she was still a little girl, to drink beer. He brought her juice and carbonated drinks. She replied that she had not been small for a long time. And Wang added that besides age, everything else was no longer small, hinting at her breasts, and she covered it with her hands. After that, he decided to go wash and change clothes and asked her to rest after that as well. When he left, she was very interested in the taste of beer and she took it. At this time, Wang turned to the system. She sent him some kind of hint and wanted to look at it now. The system showed him his personal attribute panel. Van thought she was wrong, because he trains at school every day. His all parameters except dexterity were below normal. At the same time, the system explained that these values of the norm here are normal for the post-apocalyptic world. Therefore, those who survived in this world are much more physically healthy than in the real world. Wang was thinking about how to increase these indicators. The system explained that it was necessary to use gold to upgrade the system, and thus he would be able to increase these indicators. The second system update activates a lottery system with prizes such as food, weapons, attribute upgrades, and various skills. He realized that this is the same as the computer version, but it works on a human, and then asked how much the hedgehog costs the first upgrade. It costs 1,000 kilograms of gold, which is equal to 400 million, but Wang thought it was too expensive. The system advised him not to despair, because the deal is worth every penny. If he wins the skill book in the lottery system, he will be able to learn the appropriate skill and increase his chances of survival. Skills are also enhanced by killing zombies, and this makes him much stronger. And most importantly, he can use his skills and attributes in the real world. Wang remembered that he had insulted Mr. Lai, and now he needed some defensive skills. At the same time, he asked if there would be any side effects, and the system assured him that nothing bad would happen. Wang realized that gold mining was now his main goal. When he came to Zio, he saw that she had drunk all the cans of beer and fell asleep. He carefully carried her to her room, then decided to take a little look at her body. It was beautiful, angelic face, devilish body, and she treated him very well, unlike Xiao. But he immediately brought himself to his senses and grabbed his cheeks and left. Zio immediately got up and did not understand why he left. She began to think that he perceived her as a sister. In the morning they changed their clothes and set out on their way. She told him to be careful, because someone is eating meat in the vicinity, and Van also felt it. She was a little tired of the food in the bag and wanted fresh meat, but Wang knew it was a trap. We are shown bandits who also came to the smell of meat. Zio and Wang decided to climb onto the roof and examine the whole situation. They were the Tiger Head people. This man's name is Chen Zhai Kang. He was the leader of a small subgroup in the Tiger Head gang. However, he knew that they had a shortage of food and therefore switched to a gang of wild sharks. Van was glad that he was from a gang of wild sharks, because it could play into their hands. The bandits were ordered to stand, because otherwise she would shoot. The bandits asked if policeman Mayo was there. The bandit said that he only saw them shoot a boar, and he hasn't eaten fresh meat for a long time. Zio said that the policeman's name is Mayo and she was an officer before the onset of the post-apocalypse. After the onset of the post-apocalypse, she started using this house as a base, and in her team there is an old cop, Lai Chengping, who is her senior. Besides them, there are 5 or 6 other children and women, and all of them have no fighting ability. Wang didn't understand why they wouldn't just leave, but she explained that Lai Cheng had badly injured his leg, so Mayo stayed to take care of him, so you can say that she is quite a devoted person. Van wants to help them, but even more wants to defeat a gang of wild sharks, so he decided to help them. Mayo asked the bandits why they wouldn't go hunting themselves if there were so many of them. The bandit replied that they were constantly trying, but they were not lucky, so they decided to bother them. The bandit replied that they were constantly trying, but they were not lucky, so they decided to bother them. He doesn't want to take everything, only half. Cheng advised her to agree, and Mayo replied that she knew them well. If you give in to them once, then after that they will cross all sorts of boundaries. She ordered them to leave because she had killed that boar. The bandit knew that they had only 2 pistols, and there were a lot of them here and there wouldn't be enough bullets for everyone. At the same time, she shot the bandit and told them to stop talking nonsense, and if they want to attack, then let them attack. And the bandits immediately rushed at her. A shootout began, they shot at the windows, and others tried to knock out the doors. Mayo understood that she didn't have enough bullets and they couldn't continue shooting. Cheng understood that others were coming up the corridor. He ordered her to stay here, and he would go down and kill them. At this time, Wang told Zio to start shooting and she killed the shooter. The main bandit immediately realized that there was a sniper here and did not understand how such a thing was possible. Mayo realized that this was her chance and therefore also started shooting back. The bandit noticed Mayo and ordered others to kill her. The bandit wanted to shoot her, but Zio hit him on the arm. Everyone immediately realized that there was definitely a sniper here and ran into the building. He didn't understand how anyone dared to go against wild sharks. Mayo realized that this was her chance and therefore wanted to help the elder. He reported to her that everything was fine here. 2 managed to enter, but he killed them. At the same time, Mayo said that there were more of them, but someone decided to help them. The arrows of the wild sharks suddenly quieted down. Mayo understood that most likely they were killed, and Jai Kang noticed it. Not knowing what to do, Chen decided to negotiate with Mayo. The chapter continued with Mayo asking the bandit why he suddenly wanted to talk, but still decided to listen to him. He asked if she could ask a friend to let them go. He wants to forget about what happened and he won't bother her anymore. The senior policeman understood that they had no idea who the shooter was, so he did not know what to do. Mayo replied that it was impossible to make it clear to the bandit that he was not their friend. She started screaming that the wild sharks had already repented, so she asked for their lives to be spared. Zio asked him what they should do and he told her to wait for his signal. Then he shouted that he would let the sharks go this time and they could leave. The elder realized that he sincerely wanted to help them. When the sharks came out, the main bandit wanted to bring more people and kill them all. At the same time, Wang ordered her to shoot. She immediately shot the bandit in the head and they were shocked, because they were promised that they would be released. Mayo also didn't understand why they were shooting. The main bandit hid behind a friend to save his life. He said it was his fault, because he did not keep his word, and continued to shoot at them. They ran too far and Zio couldn't kill him. Wang also said that everything is fine, because this rifle is not too good. He asked her to wait here and she realized that he was going to negotiate with Officer Milo. Wang replied that she should not worry, because they would not harm him. While they were looking out the window, Van came up to them with a pack of chips. He told them not to be afraid, because he just wanted to talk. Mayo asked him who he was and what he wanted. If it comes to food, they refused to negotiate. He will invite them to work together, and then he will give them food as a gift at the first meeting. Mayo replied that they didn't need his food. At the same time, Wang added that he could get rid of the gangs and give them both a stable existence. He doesn't want to waste time, so he needs to talk right now. The elder didn't know if he was telling the truth or not, and didn't know if he could be trusted. But Mayo decided to let him in, but she warned him not to do anything stupid. He also asked them not to worry, because it is wiser to cooperate with him. When he entered the building, she put a gun to his head and ordered him to put things on the floor. He replied that he had only this. He put the chips and bag on the floor and Zionan checked the things. It was also full of food. Van said he could give it all to them, but asked for one thing about cooperation with him, and she wanted to talk about it on the second floor. When they were climbing up, he asked her to be careful that she didn't accidentally pull the trigger. She assured him that she was a good shooter and only shoots at bad people. The elder realized that it was he who helped them and greeted him. Van realized that there were other children here besides that boy. He was shunned a lot. Wang Po greeted them and Mayo explained that they had all been through trouble before she took them in, which is why they are so careful with Wang. The protagonist noticed that she put away her weapon, so she trusts him. She asked him what his purpose was. Wang clearly told her that she wanted to unite to fight back against a gang of wild sharks. For her, it was nonsense, because they have a lot of people. Xiao Nan asked him if he could fight a gang of sharks and called Wang cool. Wang understood that they might misunderstand him, but he explained that the Tiger Head Gang and the Bear Gang were fighting now. It only remained to light a fire between wild sharks and flying eagles, and so they would benefit by doing nothing. And although the officer understood that if they killed each other, there would be no large organizations left in the city, however, she was not interested in his proposal. He didn't understand why, because it was a great opportunity. Xiao added that then she would have to take not only the children, but also the eldest with a wounded leg. She's not interested in gang fights right now. She would just get enough food and get them out of here as fast as she could. He suggested that she think again. He knows that he has disturbed her, however, if she helps him, she will bring her even more food. Nan, opening the bag, said that Wang was not lying. The protagonist asked to believe him, because this food is a luxury here, but he has 100 times more of this food at his disposal. She didn't know who he was if he could get so much food. Van understood that she was wondering where he got so much food from, but he asked not to worry about it. He just needed an answer. Mio understood that if she worked with him to get food, they wouldn't have to go out and look for it, and they wouldn't have to worry about it, but she didn't know if she could trust him. She asked the elder for his opinion. He also told her that if everything was all right for her, he would support her. At the same time, others intervened. They said that it was better to fight than to hide and constantly live in fear. They don't want to be a burden to her. They will do everything in their power not to cause them trouble. They wanted to fight wild sharks together. Xiao told them that it could cost them their lives. At the same time, Xiao Nan started shouting and saying that the officer was a coward. Since she did not want to help Wang, she would do it herself. He didn't want to calm down, because wild sharks killed his parents. It's time for revenge. At the same time, Wang put his hand on his head and asked him not to talk to Yun like that. After all, she makes every decision based on their protection. If she was really afraid, she would have left him long ago. He asked him to quickly apologize to Yun, and the boy did it. For this, Xiao lightly hit him and explained to him that she could not wait to bring them to justice. But the reality of the situation did not allow it. They don't match either their numbers or their firepower. Wang told her that he had started a fight between the Bears and the Tiger Head Gang, and it was only natural that wild sharks and flying eagles would be next. If they help him light a fire, that will be enough. He has a huge amount of ammunition. Mio said that she is the only one who can help him, since her eldest is injured and cannot walk, and the rest are just children. But that was enough. He told Nan what he was waiting for, because it was time to go. Mio also added that everyone else should also gather, because they are moving. Wang was glad to have found reliable teammates here again. When they were already on the spot, Xiao found the wild shark's weapons. This gun is powerful, but too loud. They will be easily discovered with him. While Xiao was aiming, everyone else started eating the food. Mio realized that there were only 2 of them and they were going to fight with wild sharks, but Wang added that there are now 3. Besides, Xiao is not a bad shooter. The older one said that beer is so refreshing. That's why it's expensive here. He thanked Wang for that. Xiao said that there were more of them, but because of her carelessness, she drank most of them. Mio was surprised that he had beer, because they change it on the streets for 3 packs of bullets. The elder liked beer very much, and it would have been even better with cigarettes. Wang added that although it would be difficult, he would bring it next time. He also said that there is also beer for Officer Mio. She was just shocked and glad, because she had not drunk it for a very long time. When she opened it and started drinking, Xiao also asked, but Wang was against it. When Mio drank the beer, it refreshed her very much and she was happy. At the same time, Wang decided to give them even more food and asked them not to be shy. They were happy about it and asked Yun if they could eat it. She gave her consent, but everyone has to choose one thing. Then they heard explosions and Xiao realized that the Bears and Tiger Head were already fighting. He told Mio again that he had not deceived her, because there was already a war going on between the Bear Gang and the Tiger Head. She said she would trust for a while, but she has a question. He has enough food to last the 2 of them. Why didn't he run away with Xiao? Why did he need to destroy these gangs? Wang explained that these 4 gangs have done a lot of bad things over the years, and he is sick of their atrocities. Now that he has the power, he will remove them. Officer Mio firmly adheres to justice. He must not let her know that he is here for the gold bars. He asked Nan to come over because they left the gun here. They were shocked because he suddenly gave the gun to him. He told him that even though he was small, but as a real man in this world with this gun, he had to protect his sister and sisters. Nan asked Mio if he could take this gun and she gave her consent. Wang asked the boy to remember what he had told him and added that tomorrow he would start teaching him shooting. Mio understood that he had so easily given them a helping hand, and now he was teaching them to defend themselves. She wondered for herself who he was. Then she told them to have a good rest, because they are moving out tomorrow. The next day, after a hearty breakfast, Zio and Officer Mayo went to the base of the Wild Shark Gang. Officer Mayo knew this Dingsheng area well, and so they quickly found the Wild Shark headquarters. However, their base was strictly guarded, so they hid in an approximate building. After examining them, Van realized that they had several pistols, and the rest with sticks and knives. Mayo suggested killing those with weapons first. When the bandits were guarding the point, another bandit decided to go to the toilet, but the thug with a gun was immediately shot. Everyone immediately raised the alarm and told them to be careful. Then they deftly dealt with the bandits. At the same time, Wang grabbed them by the head and bent them down. He now wanted to create problems for the Flying Eagles. After we are shown that the shark boss saw all the corpses, she was angry that they dared to attack them unexpectedly. She wanted to find and kill those who did it. The bandits understood that since the Bear Gang and Tiger Head were fighting now, the only ones who could attack them were the Flying Eagles. They wanted to destroy them, but she told them to shut up because it was suspicious. After all, a gang of Flying Eagles would not dare to start a war with them. There must be someone else trying to provoke them. She wanted to find out what happened between bears and tigers. She ordered to find out if anyone has appeared in the city in recent years. She ordered to call all her people, because in such a situation, they need to strengthen their strength. She didn't know who was behind it, but if both the Tiger Head Gang and the Bear Gang got hurt, then she could capture the Flying Eagle Gang. At this time at the Eagle's base, Faye was playing with his subordinates and he won again, but wanted to continue. At the same time, his subordinates appeared, who said that they had started a fire at the sentry post. Afterwards, we are shown that Wang and his group of 2 girls have already killed the bandits and taken their pistols. Mayo was surprised that the Flying Eagle Gang and the Wild Shark Gang were so worthless, but it was all because they cheated. Besides, they are used to doing bad things, so death is nothing to them now. Then Zio appeared, who reported that she had already set fire to the posts. Wang was pleased with this and told them to go back. Overnight, all 4 gangs were forced to act. The war between tigers and bears has escalated. Now these gangs will fight to the very end. There is only one way out for each of them, victory or defeat. There will also be a war between Flying Eagles and Wild Sharks soon. It's all part of his plan. He will have fun watching their actions. Already at night, Ven decided to practice shooting and shot at beer cans. Out of 10 shots, he didn't get a single hit. Immediately Mayo came up to him, who said that he would now spend all the bullets. Wang apologized to her because he thought he had woken her up, but she offered her help in return. She looked very good, and so Wang was a little embarrassed. The officer added that she should thank him. After all, he helped her find her old self. He didn't understand a little what she and Mayo were talking about, took the gun and shot into the jar. Van immediately noticed that she was an excellent shooter because she had been a policeman before. After the onset of the post-apocalypse, besides the master, there were other companions with her. They protected ordinary people, but over time, there was less and less food. Her companions quarreled and died one by one before her eyes. She began to doubt her beliefs. This world turned into chaos, and she had no one to protect after she found those kids. And even though she protected them, she still lost all will to fight. Wang also noted that it was surprising that she was able to protect them, given the brutality of the 4 gangs and the lack of food. She said that before the leaders of these gangs were petty hooligans, she had even arrested some of them. However, in an instant they gained great power and gathered their gangs. She could only calmly look at their cruelty and feel useless. But Wang told her that this was not the case. Because she is very strong and brave, he was glad that she did not become bad after all this. Besides, she guards her territory and protects these children. He added that she is much better than him and he admires her from the bottom of his heart, and only the real ones are important. Then he asked her if she would teach him shooting. She approached him and said it was easy. As soon as he understands the essence and follows his feelings, he can become a skilled shooter. Then she put her hand on his neck and told him to aim where he wanted to hit. He should focus on the target, then hold his gaze, the muzzle and the target at the same level. Then I asked him if he already felt it. She touched her breasts to him and therefore Wang was very embarrassed and said that he felt. At the same time, she advised him to shoot. And as a result, he got into the jar. He was glad that he could get in. He felt a great feeling when he got there. Mayo told him to work hard and then his shooting skills would improve. At the same time, Wang added that as soon as he destroyed these gangs, he would show her a beautiful world. She asked him if he wanted her to go with him. He told her that when they were done, they would get out of here. But she told him that they would talk about it later, and now he needed to continue training. At this time, Zio appeared, who also really wanted to shoot and sadly ate food. Already in the morning, the war between the Tiger's Head and Bear's gang was fierce. The sounds of gunshots and explosions did not stop in the city. He and Zio were responsible for infiltrating the territory where the 2 factions were fighting and gathering information. The Tiger Head gang did not give up until the end, and finally defeated the Bear gang. However, they suffered heavy losses. Only more than 10 people managed to survive. In addition, the loud noise attracted zombies, and now their building is surrounded by thousands of zombies. After learning about the situation between these gangs, the gang of wild sharks moved out in full force. But the flying eagles sent a spy to the wild sharks to give them information about them. At this time, Faye was saying that he would not let the wild sharks kill him. He was giving a beautiful speech to his gang, as a result of which they wanted to kill their enemies. There are few guards left in the wild shark building, and this is an ideal opportunity to get inside. Then one guard was killed, and Wang crept up to the second from behind and told him not to move. The bandit asked for mercy, and the protagonist told him that if he did not want to die, he had to cooperate with them. Zio and Mayo approached them, saying that Wang was right. The bandit said that the food is on the top floor. Only machine gunners are guarding there, so they are unlikely to be able to take anything, but Van was interested in gold. The guard said it was in a warehouse on the ground floor, but why would he need it? When they entered the building, the bandit said that there was a storage room at the end of this corridor. They had not been there for a long time. Wang asked him if it was a trap, but he told him that his life was in their hands, so he definitely wouldn't be able to deceive them. At the same time, Mayo told him to go there first. Wang understood that Mayo was taking a very careful approach to the matter. He felt safe with her. The protagonist agreed with her and ordered him to go first. It turns out there is a staircase to the top floor, but they won't be able to see it until they get closer. As soon as he gets to the stairs, he can run away and notify the guys at the top. He wanted to kill Wang and lock up the girls. He thought that he could do something dirty with them and was glad that there were two of them. He decided to call Wang first, and he followed him. Then he immediately said that they were losers and that his brothers would kill them soon. They understood that they should not let him escape and chased after him. Running away from them, he already dreamed of those girls, but he was captured by zombies. Van told them to stop. They heard screams and pleas for help, and blood flowed from there. There were a lot of zombies there. They were near the door to the vault, and Zio asked him what they should do. For their safety, he invited them to leave. But the officer did not agree. She did not know why he needed these gold bars, but since they would help him destroy these gangs, then they should not retreat. Zio supported her, because it's a great time, although it's hard, but when they still have such an opportunity. Van realized that they were right and it could be worse next time, so he decided to act. He didn't want to back down when he had such brave girls by his side. They prepared for battle and rushed straight at them. They easily destroyed all these zombies and entered the vault. There was a lot of gold lying there, but he wasn't that excited. They didn't understand how they would endure so much. Mayo said that there are about 40 tons of gold here. Wang roughly calculated and found out that all this would cost $16 billion. Before the post-apocalypse, all this gold was returned to the state, and then she apologized, saying that she said it out of habit. She wondered how they would take it away, and Wang called the system. She congratulated him on discovering a large amount of gold bars and asked him if he wanted to update the system. To begin with, he wanted to find out how much gold there was, and the system reported that there are 46.250 kilograms. Wang told them that they would not take this gold. Mayo asked him why, because they had made their way there with such difficulty. Zio agreed, because they can carry away at least some of it. Wang explained to them that it was not they who would take the gold, but some others. He said that a secret organization was behind him, but he could not tell them the details yet. His task is to find these ingots and send the location. Then the organization will plan everything, and then send people to pick them up. Zio realized that when he disappeared for 7 days, he was actually just returning to the organization, and Wang confirmed it. Mayo wasn't surprised, because he had such precious food. She asked him what his organization was doing. Wang told her that he could not talk about it, but asked her to trust him. He will never use them and will not harm them. The officer told him that she had been watching him all these days, so she was sure that he had a good reason not to talk about it. He said he would send the coordinates now, and they should wait outside and watch the door. They agreed, but asked him not to stay long, because this is the headquarters of wild sharks. When they exited, Wang told the system to update and the process started. Everything went well and an extra large system space was auto-loaded. Now he just needs to think about the thing he wants to put here, and then it will automatically be placed in the system space. He was glad of this and said that he wanted to place all the gold that is here in the system space. All the gold was preserved, and the 1,000 kilograms needed for the upgrade were deducted accordingly. Now it will be easier for him with such a mobile space. Then he asked if he had any more updates. The system explained that going to the next level costs 30 kilograms of gold, after which a lottery system opens where he can spend his gold to win something in the lottery. And even though it was very expensive, but he needed it. His fighting abilities are at a low level, and he always relies on Zio and Mayo. As a man, he shouldn't let a girl protect him. He has to get stronger. When it was all over, Wang decided to open a lottery system. A slot machine appeared in front of him. The system explained to him that each draw costs 50 kilograms of gold. There are lots of prizes here, and he can see for himself. He was surprised that he had just spent a large amount of gold on updating the system, and he still needed to deposit 50 kilograms of gold for each draw. The system assured him that it was the best value for money, and he should not forget to say, "I will invest money and make you strong." Van understood that he could spend money to become strong. Besides, he now has a lot of gold. In addition, all the games he played since childhood were only about European kings, so he is always lucky. He decided to try his luck and pulled the lever. Wang understood that if he got super skills, he would be able to fight flying eagles and wild sharks himself. Even when he comes back, he doesn't have to be afraid of this Mr. Lee. He immediately got super skills and he was very happy about it. But it turned out that only an increase in attributes by one indicator fell out. He started crying that he had spent 50 kilograms of gold to increase agility. He wanted a super skill, and he got such a prize. He decided to continue playing. But he got anti-tank grenades, a night vision device, a grenade launcher and rockets, and a package of sharp sticks. After a bunch of attempts, he got a skill book. He was glad that at least she had fallen out. He asked the system to show his characteristics and noticed that his indicators were increased, but not much. He asked the system to tell him about this skill. Shooting improvement. Level 1, increase the hit rate by 10 points, exactly by 10 points, and the shooting range by 100 meters. In order to move to the next level, you need to kill 1,000 zombies. His score is 0 out of 1,000. Now he spent a lot of gold, but he didn't get anything good. But he assumed that this time it would be a little easier to get skills, so he decided to play again and again. 2 minutes later, Wang became even more desperate. After all, he didn't get anything for 5 samples. He spent 20 million, but received only 2 packages of sharp sticks and mineral water. But there are 2 more useful things. A box of cartridges for a rifle. This is just the right amount of cartridges to increase his shooting skills. And the second is the super skill Flaming Hand. With this skill, Wang can strengthen his hands and punch even boulders. Finally, he had a super skill to protect himself. Now he can protect himself both in the real and in the virtual world. Then the system reported that there is only 2,075 kilograms of gold left in the space, and this gold is not needed yet, only if the system does not need them. Wang understood that if he returned to the real world for 1 day, then 7 days would pass here, for the sake of Xiao and Maio's safety. He must deal with a gang of wild sharks. At this time, Maio took a bottle of cola and took just a sip, but he refreshed her very much and she was happy. Xiao started laughing at her, because she had exactly the same expression when she first drank the Coke that Wang gave her. But I immediately noticed that it would be better if it was with ice. She recalled that they used to be able to drink cola with ice whenever they wanted, but now it's a luxury. Xiao also asked her not to worry, because as long as she was with Wang, she would not lack for food. Maio noticed that when she talks about Wang, she becomes so happy and asked her if she really fell in love with him, to which Xiao of course began to deny, and Maio understood everything. At the same time, Van appeared, who asked what they were talking about here. Then Wang added that it was time for them to leave. Maio assumed that now was the perfect opportunity to blow up this building, but Wang replied that there was a better way. Now they will help the Flying Eagles gang. The girls were surprised that Wang offered to help the Flying Eagles, and although they are the weakest, they still did a lot of bad things. But Wang told them to believe him. Now the best way to fight wild sharks is to support Flying Eagles. At this time, there was a fierce struggle in the headquarters of the Flying Eagles. They shot at people who were protected by shields. Fei ordered them to replenish the bullets quickly. He wanted to show who is the main enemy gang here. At the same time, another bandit told them to hold on, because Sin would come soon. At this time, Sin and the bandit were watching from the car. He didn't know if it was normal that they were fighting alone. She explained to him that they were just cannon fodder for her. All this talk about loyalty is just to brainwash them. She sent them to the front to attract the main firepower. And the boss of this gang, this punk, is a sucker. She sent these guys to die first so that he would put his heavy troops at the main gate. Because they are outnumbered, the other 3 sides will be empty. She has at least 4 times as many people as he does. As soon as the intermediate attack ends, the Flying Eagles gang will come to an end. At this time, on the other side, the gang threw hooks and began to climb up. The bandit on the wall reported that there are a large number of wild shark people on the east side. They reported this to the fairy, but he just grinned. He ordered them to defeat them and they started shooting. But the bandits were quickly killed and the enemies began to climb the stairs. When one of the bandits climbed up, he was immediately killed and he fell down. They realized that there were snipers who had recently helped Officer Milo. They ordered a quick search of the nearest building, because they should not be far away. They shouldn't miss them this time. Sin didn't want any people to go against him. His partner suggested that he retreat, but Sin just kicked him out of the car. She told the radio that whoever finds them will get a bag of flour and a bottle of wine. Therefore, the bandits ran straight into the building. They assumed that they were on the balcony. Zio realized that they had found out where she was. She immediately remembered Wang's words. Zio and Mio were supposed to distract a gang of wild sharks. After each shot, they have to move to a new place, so they won't know how many of them there are. Zio realized that now that she was exposed, he decided to change his position. Faye at this time ordered to protect the north, south, and west sides. At the same time, the bandit informed Faye that he had good news. The attack of wild sharks is blocked, but he does not know who is helping him. Faye was glad, because it must be a servant sent by God. The Flying Eagles do not know that he, along with Zio and Mio, are helping them in the fight against a gang of wild sharks. Even if these two snipers don't defeat a gang of wild sharks, they may well be able to hold them for a long time. And Van himself will wait for the best moment. Sin was informed that someone was firing at them and asked what they should do, because he could not find them, because they were not predictable and they had already lost 20 people. At this time, the Flying Eagles had already begun to act, and he was again asked if they should continue to attack. She started shouting at them to continue killing, and those who dared to escape, to kill on the spot. At the same time, Faye asked why they were gathering here. Then he asked how much fire did they have, but they have nothing left. The head understood that if they burst in now, they would not be able to escape. They would only have to fight hand to hand. At the same time, Sin herself drove up to them by car. Van was glad that she had finally appeared. She greeted Faye. He was very angry that they had suffered great losses because of her. She told him she was giving him a chance. She would let them live if they joined him, and they will immediately stop the offensive if they do that. Besides, he has to listen to what she tells him, and then he will continue his role as the boss. He climbed the wall and told him that he would never be at his beck and call. Not accepting her offer, Sin said that whoever brought his head would receive 10 bags of flour. Everyone was happy about this and ran to put ladders on the walls. Sin immediately started shooting at the remaining bandits of the Flying Eagles and literally destroyed their wall with a machine gun. The bandits wanted to use firepower and launch an attack. But suddenly an explosion occurred and they turned around and saw that a rocket was flying into the car. But Sin managed to survive and the bandits flew away from the explosion. They were glad that God had really sent them a man with help. Faye also said that this was their chance and they opened fire. The bandits running away ran up to Sin to help her. Her partner picked up Sina and asked her to rest against him. She didn't understand where he got such firepower from. She didn't understand who it was. Wang added that it was easy. Now that they don't threaten Zio and Mio, he can't be calm. After all this, Faye was told that although they lost a lot of people, they were able to survive in the end. He asked to bring his wonderful device. At this time, Van decided to hide his grenade launcher, and the system removed it. At the same time, the gang brought huge speakers and Faye said that he did not know who he was. But on behalf of the Flying Eagles gang thanked him for saving his life. He could contact them at any time if he needed help, and if they can help, they will definitely do it. But Van doesn't need it and he thought to himself that he should forget about it. After the battle, both gangs lost a lot of troops, but the Wild Shark gang suffered the most, with more than 30 people left and more than half of them injured. The leader of the Wild Shark gang, Singh, was seriously injured and the Flying Eagles had to recover, so both gangs probably wouldn't dare to make any reckless moves against each other. Since everything is so calm now, he can come back. Afterwards, they all celebrated the victory. The elder did not think that the three of them would cause serious damage to these two gangs. He was sorry that he could not walk normally. Otherwise he would have taken part himself. Nan also said that he would also like to kill a couple of bandits. But the girl told him that he should stay in place because he is weak, but the kid assured her that he trains every day. Wang also asked Bei and Nan to stop fighting. They will still have many chances to protect them in the future. Wang added that he doesn't think there will be any more noise from a gang of wild sharks or flying eagles, but they'd better find a new base just in case. He suggested they go to the suburbs. There are a lot more zombies there, but there are fewer living people, so you don't have to worry about being attacked. He's coming back, so they can stay there for a few days. When he comes with food for them, they will be able to find a safer place. Mio asked him why he should leave now, but Van has to leave for 7 days or so to get supplies. But this time he will come back with a bunch of things, fresh vegetables and meat too. So they have to say they want to eat and he will bring everything. They were happy because of this and each asked for something different. He said that he would bring everything without any problems. Mio asked for a cold beer, and the elder asked for cigarettes. And then they decided to celebrate their great victory. The next morning, they drove to the suburbs. It's full of zombies, but that's why he wants to move here. Because from now on, he needs to kill a lot of zombies to boost his skills, for the sake of safety. He gave the pistols to Bao and Nan, which he took from a gang of wild sharks. It's a little ridiculous to give children weapons, but it would be better if in a post-apocalyptic world they had weapons so that they could protect themselves and others. Already in the evening, he put them a box and 10,000 bullets. This should be enough for them all. First thing tomorrow morning, he wants to clear the area of zombies and practice shooting. He asked them if they wanted to go with him. Of course they agreed, because Nan wanted to show how well he can shoot. Xiao also wanted to go with them, but Mayo said that she was already a good shooter so they could do other things. Even though Wang Bing will be gone for a while, they still need to prepare a meal. They wanted to go to the nearby mountains tomorrow and not collect some wild herbs. The chapter began with the fact that Van was not against them going for vegetables. After all these days he only ate instant noodles that he was already sick of it. He will be happy if they can bring some wild vegetables and seafood. Xiao agreed to go with Officer Mayo to the mountains, but she actually wanted to spend some time with Wang Bing before he left. After I show us how Van went to training with the children, he immediately fired and the zombies noticed the sound and began to crawl on him. They noticed that they were already surrounded on all sides by zombies. Wang also asked her not to worry, because when they gather here, she will see everything herself. Van started shooting at them first and then asked why they were standing still, because it was time to practice shooting. Nan wanted to show them how he learned not to shoot badly. It was easy to move around the countryside, so he practiced with these two kids all day, and before he realized it, night had fallen. In the past few days, they have been repeating their daily routine, killing zombies here, using about 3,000 rounds of ammunition, until they have almost cleared the area of all zombies. Wang understood that the kids were improving every day, so now they are able to protect their people. And most importantly, his skills have improved too. The system then informed him that he had reached the 3rd level. The hit rate increased by 80 points, accuracy by 80 points, range by 200 meters. A sumptuous dinner was waiting for them in the evening. There were not only vegetables, but also fried pig and fried chicken. They were very happy. Xiao said it was the result of spending a lot of time in the kitchen. The girl added that it was all for the sake of what Van had done for them. He was a little surprised, and the elder explained that since Yun found out that he was leaving, she wanted to cook him a delicious meal, and this would see him off. So he and Xiao went hunting together, found vegetables, and went door to door looking for condiments. And even though he has been her eldest for a long time, he has never been treated like this in all his years. Mayo got a little angry and said that if he doesn't want to, he cannot eat. He told her that she had prepared a wonderful dinner. Mayo added that it's like when she used to cook a lovely dinner for those who were sentenced to death. She also advised him to thank Xiao. The boar's head remained from the last time, but Xiao shot the pheasant. He hugged her and said that she was doing well, and that they did not need to be nice to each other because they were already friends in arms. In fact, she was happy that she was a close person to Wang, but then she realized that he had only called her a friend. At the same time, Nan asked if they could already eat because they were very hungry, and Mayo gave her consent and they all started the meal. After Xiao asked him if he leaves it all to them, then what will he do? But Van assured him that only one gun would be enough for him and that he left everything for these 3. Mayo also asked him not to worry because they will take care of everything. Xiao also suggested that she could go with him because she was worried, but Wang asked her not to worry and to stay here to protect everyone. He guaranteed that he would be back in a week. She agreed with him and added that she would definitely wait for him. After that, they show us that Van has already entered the room and the girls are thinking. Mayo asked if Wang also disappeared when he was alone in the room and Xiao confirmed it. At this time, Wang told the system to start moving. Already in the real world, Van was drinking beer with his friends and just relaxing. Van told them to eat too, because he was hungry as a wolf. His friend didn't understand why he looked so hungry, and ordered so much food that they wouldn't eat it. Initially, Wang wanted to invite them to some posh restaurant, but he really missed the meat, so he called them here first. In a post-apocalyptic world, you need to be on your guard all the time because of zombies and other people. Still, food is in short supply there. But in this world you can enjoy not only the clear sky, but also eat everything you want. He was very happy to live in this world. His friend suggested that because he had become rich, he had gone a little crazy. At the same time, another friend said that since he had insulted Mr. Lee, they were already looking for him. Wang also told them not to talk about not, and asked what they would do after graduation. The first friend will go to work in a brokerage company, and the other one wants to start his own business, but does not yet know what to do. Wang asked him if he was interested in jewelry. He explained that he had some jewelry at a low price. If he was interested, then they could unite and open a jewelry store. They agreed. They wanted to invest the money that Wang gave them and become shareholders. But Wang said that he would make the initial payment himself, and they should use the money for themselves. His friend asked if he had enough money to invest in this. Wang said he was going to invest 20 million and another 2 kilograms of gold. They immediately started counting how much it costs. It turned out that 2,000 kilograms of gold would cost $800 million. His friend asked him if he was sure, but Wang was clear in his decisions. He asked them not to count, but just to eat, because after that he would show them something. His gold is in his villa. After that, he showed them his gold and they were just shocked. One friend hugged the gold and thought it was all a dream. Then another friend kicked him so he wouldn't think it was a dream. The friend immediately began to demand clarification from Wang and asked if he had committed illegal actions, but he denied everything. He asked them to choose the location of the store, get a business license. He trusts them with all this. They agreed and said they would do their best. At the same time, Wang added that they were partners, and if so, he would give each 10% of the shares. Friends noticed that business is business. He pays for everything and he gives them 10% for nothing. It was too much for them. Besides, they're pretty bad at it. But Wang didn't doubt their abilities. Xingping, as an extrovert, was supposed to be responsible for managing the store and staff, and Hongfei, as an introvert, will be responsible for the internal management of the company and at the same time study the design of jewelry. When their company strengthens, they will open another investment company. Xingping loves speculating on the stock exchange, so when the time comes, he will be in charge of the investment company. Together they will be able to build a powerful business empire. They hugged him with happiness because they didn't even know how to thank him. Then his phone rang and Van said that what he ordered had arrived. When they went outside, there was already a truck there. It turned out he had ordered bags of wheat and rice flour, as well as a lot of vegetables and fruits. Faye assumed that he was going to leave and hide from Mr. Lai with these supplies. But Van replied that he was not afraid of him, and all this would be useful to him. At the same time, they said that he was receiving goods here, and they would take care of the company's affairs. After that, Van was just walking down the street and his friends asked him not to hurry because they hadn't finished yet. Wang told them that everything was fine because he was enjoying every minute of his life. Wang understood that he had spent more time in the post-apocalyptic world recently than he had here, so it was strange to return to the real world. He assumed that he had been in that world for so long that he had become so sensitive and depressed. He has matured a lot, having known life and death in that world. When he looks at these college students his age, he feels this wonderful time of youth. Or maybe it's because he's rich and his perception of everything has become different. If he hadn't found himself in another world, he would probably be hurriedly running towards the future now after graduating from uni. He is the best student in the opinion of others, but so what if it is? In the face of all these people and hard work, his perfection is insignificant, but God gave him a chance. And now he will become an influential person in these two worlds. As he walked on, guys appeared in front of him and asked him if he was Wang Bing. He understood that these thugs were sent by Mr. Li to teach him a lesson. He immediately told them that he was Wang Bing and asked what they needed. The head was pleased that he was brave, then asked if he had heard anything about Brother Dong from the Black Tiger Gang. Wang told them to stop talking nonsense and asked about Li. The head was pleased that he got straight to the point and asked if he was ready to be beaten. Mr. Li told them to bring his leg, but Wang told them that if they could, they should try to take his life as well. Wang also noted that this is not a suitable place and asked them if they were ready to change the location. The head agreed and asked him to show what he was capable of. The bandit warned Don that he could cheat and so he asked to call their guy and call them. After that they were in the forest and Don told him that he respected him for his courage. Wang replied to him that this was the real him, then added that they should not waste time and attack him. Don admitted that he was smart and brave enough and if it wasn't for Li's order, they could have become friends. After all the bandits rushed straight at him, Wang realized that his fiery hand had already reached the second level, so he just wanted to practice on them and immediately hit the bandit and he flew away. Don was surprised that Wang knew the art of war. He ordered them to take weapons and surround him. They did so and rushed from all sides, even managed to wound Van's back. At the same time, Wang hit the bandit and he also flew away. Don also decided to intervene and took out his dagger. He tried to kill him, but at the last moment Wang caught the blade, so Don was very surprised by this. He called them names, saying they were not black tigers, but just little cats and hit him in the balls. And then I decided to finish him off, and hit him with a strong blow from the palm of my hand. When Don fell, Wang told them to come over and keep fighting. But the bandits didn't really want to go first. Two cars immediately drove up and the bandits realized that it was their guys who drove up. Pormu said that Van would definitely die today. They picked up Don and he was angry at them that they dared to be late. Don understood that even though he knows martial arts, but now there are too many of them, so he won't do anything. Initially, he just wanted to take her leg, but now he definitely won't leave. Wang understood that the level of the flame hand was not that high. He could handle 5-6 people with it, but it would be difficult with so many people. Don ordered them to attack him, because if something happens, he will take care of it. Wang, using the system, took out a pistol and fired upwards. They were surprised that he had a gun. They immediately asked Don why he didn't say anything about having a gun, but Don himself didn't know anything. Wang pointed the barrel at them and told them to come up. Don said he only had one gun, and there were a lot of them, so they didn't need to be afraid. Wang immediately shot Don in the leg and asked who wanted to get shot next. Don asked to get up. When he got up, he shouted that they were a gang of black tigers, but Wang pointed the gun directly at his face. Don added that they only wanted to be friends and suggested that they leave everything in the past. At the same time, Van made a fake shot and the thugs were very scared and dropped Don. Van didn't care that they were a gang of black tigers and that there were a lot of them, but he still offered to cooperate with them. They all raised their hands and started apologizing to him. Even Don started crying and Wang started laughing at him. After he called them scum, Wang allowed them to run away, which they did, and dragged Don into the car. When they left, Van confessed that he was scared to death, but he was glad that they cared, otherwise he would have had big problems. He immediately got a call from Xingping, who asked how he was, because they had heard that some people had taken Wang away. He replied to his friend that everything was fine and had already dealt with them. Shin was surprised, because these are real Yakuza. But Wang asked him not to worry and to pick him up by car, since there are no taxis here. After they were sitting in a cafe, Sin said that this was a real mess. Wang also admitted that he would hide for a while and asked him to get information. In fact, he will use this as an excuse to return to another world. Sin replied that he would help him and let him know as soon as something happened. Then Wang asked him how he did and why Fei didn't come. He told him that they had already registered, but the business license would be ready in half a month, so Hong Fei was in such a hurry to find a suitable store that he did not go with him. Wang said he didn't have to worry about the store and could go to the agent without any hassle. When they should tell Wang, and when he returns, they will open their store. Of course, Shin was glad to hear this, but he was even more angry at Li. Wang replied that sooner or later he would take care of him, so Xing should just concentrate on his business and not worry about anything else. At the same time, Wang said that he had some other things to do, so he was going to leave and finally gave him advice not to contact Li. Xing didn't understand how Wang could ignore someone who was bullying him. Fei immediately called him and informed him that he had found Li. He was now at the club. After that, they show us how drunk Li was in the toilet and was doing his own business, how a hand was put on his shoulder and therefore he was not happy, but they immediately threw a bag on him and started beating him with bats. Xing and Fei started threatening him and Li asked how much they wanted them to stop. Fei told him that they didn't need money, but only him. They tied him up and took him to the bathroom and threw him right there and ran away. At this time, Wang was about to leave for another world. He understood that all these things should be enough for everyone for a month. He also needed to get a refrigerator so they could drink cold soda and beer. He was pleased because he understood that Xiao and the others would definitely be happy. He asked the system to move all these things into free space. Then he asked her if all these products would spoil if he moved them, but the system explained that it has a built-in super freshness function, so he can store the products as long as he wants. Wang understood that the system was so universal that he would no longer have to worry about preserving food. After that, the system reported that the space is activated and the transfer is underway. At this time, Nan said that today was his birthday and that Wang should return. The elder said that he was in a safe enough place. Even if he didn't come back, they should still wish him happiness. He helped them so much. You won't find a man like him in this world. Mayo agreed with him, because he doesn't have to take care of them all the time. Xiao added that when Wang left for the first time, she thought almost the same as they did. At that time, she thought that he had lied to her, but she still had a little hope, and every night she came to the room where Wang had left to see if he had come. Just when she was almost upset, he came back, so she suggested they wait a little longer. She was sure that Wang would return as promised. The other girls also believed that Van would come back and that he would definitely not lie. Bao has already said that if he doesn't come back, he will die of longing. After all, he promised to practice shooting together. At the same time, the door opened. Wang came in and greeted everyone. Xiao immediately rushed at him and hugged him. Wang said she was still so emotional and was a little embarrassed that her breasts touched him. Nan, starting to cry, said that he thought he had already left them. But Wang told him he was stupid for thinking he would break his promises. He told everyone to come up, because he brought a lot of good things. All these are the freshest fruits. The children began to eat fruit and were very happy. Mayo understood that if he was not there, then everyone was worried about him, but when he was around, everyone was happy. In a short time, Wang Bing became the heart of the team. He also called an officer and said he had brought her a cold Coke. She was really a cold Coke. She was glad that he had such great connections. Both girls opened a Coke and started drinking it. It was very cold and refreshing. They liked this wonderful feeling. Van was glad that they liked it and promised to continue bringing similar things. Li then asked if he had brought what he asked for, but Wang just couldn't forget about it and gave him his favorite cigarettes. Li was insanely happy and even wanted to kiss him. He sniffed the cigarette and said that so many years had passed since the last cigarette. At the same time, Nan asked Li to try, but he refused, because he is still a baby. Wang also brought a spice base for Hogo. He asked them to put a pot on and invited them to cook it. Mayo and Sayo were very happy because they also hadn't eaten hogo for a long time. When the water began to boil, Wang put some oil, then spices. Mayo also asked not to put a lot because it might not work out, but Van assured that on the contrary, more is needed, and after that they will all enjoy this wonderful meal. Sayo then told Bao and Nan to pour water into the pot. Also told Wang that she had already sliced the mayo and washed the vegetables, and the protagonist told her to put everything here. Afterward, he told them that today's meal was quite modest compared to the others. Now, from now on, they will live in abundance every day. They all ate and enjoyed the meal very much. Wang noticed that Bao and Nan started crying, and even Lai started sobbing too. Everyone started crying, and Wang assumed that he had cooked too spicy food or that it was very terrible. But Mayo explained that they had not eaten such a meal for a long time and therefore felt emotional. Before the post-apocalypse, hogo was a common food for them. Then there was a lot of food, the conditions were not so difficult, and everyone could enjoy life under a peaceful sky. Nan said that he really misses mom and dad. At that time their meal was always filled with happiness. Bao added that she also misses her family, but they will never return. Li said that he had a child, whom he missed very much, but after the onset of the post-apocalypse, he could not even protect his family, so now he has no one. The sisters also said that their relatives had turned into zombies. If Yun had not saved them with Ki, they would not have been sitting here with them today. Sayo said that the familiar taste brought them back to a time when they were happy. It's like when she listened to music and cried. All of them have been through a lot until today, and it hasn't been easy for all of them. Wang added that the post-apocalypse has already come, and the past is irreversible, so we must move on in life. He believed that with their painstaking work, they would be able to create their own home in this world. Sayo asked him what Wang was up to. He explained that there is a sea in the east, and he should go there. Even if they don't have a home, they can find an island and settle down there for now. As soon as they find a place with suitable soil and enough water, he will bring seeds and they will plant vegetables. They can also keep wild boars in captivity to no longer worry about food. It's a long way and they don't have a car, but he's sure that if they try hard, they'll get there. Li said he trusted him completely. Mayo also liked this idea, but the way to the east is very long, and the road is full of survivors and robbers. Bao also added that she and Nan have mastered shooting and will be able to protect them if anything happens. Wang added that it was not the time to get ready and hurry yet. First you need to eat your fill, so that tomorrow they will have a lot of strength. He invited them to drink to their future, as well as to honor the people who left with a wonderful future. Both girls understood that Wang was becoming more and more like a leader and that they were starting to like him more and more. Afterward, Wang said that he had clothes for each of them. The girls were surprised that he brought so many different clothes. Mayo understood that they were a little outspoken, and in general did not understand where he got them from. Sayo told her that she thought that these clothes would suit her because she has a great figure. Mayo understood that they were pretty normal, so she wanted to try them on. When the officer left, Sayo noticed the cat ears and was a little surprised. At this time, Wang was going to take a bath and relax. Then he noticed a note from Sayo saying that she had prepared a hot bath for him. It was very kind of her and the water temperature was excellent. It was very good for him, because taking a bath in the villa is nothing, but taking a bath during the post-apocalypse is quite another matter. He immediately thought that he had a villa and a lot of money that he would not be able to spend for the rest of his life. And he hasn't fully enjoyed at least one day yet, so why should he come here again? But still, he has a heart and he would like to at least create a safe and secure living space and a barrier environment for everyone here, so that if the system suddenly fails and he cannot return, he would not have to worry too much. The system also said not to worry Van, because the system is very stable, and there are no problems. Wang was surprised that the system was reading all his thoughts, but she just explained to him that if he wanted to protect his partner in this world, then he had to find more gold to upgrade. Wang understood everything and told her to charge to make him stronger. Then Sayo opened the door a crack and asked if he liked the temperature of the water. Wang said that everything was fine and thanked her. Sayo then looked out and said she also wanted to take a bath. Wang also said that it was not good to take a bath together, but she went into him anyway. There was a half-naked Sayo standing there. Because of her, he got very excited and even wanted to leave, but she climbed up to him and said that she wanted to take a bath with him. Wang told her that she was a little naive, because only two adults can take a bath together, only if they are in a loving relationship. Then she snuggled up to him and asked him if he wanted her to become his girlfriend. Wang asked if she liked him. Sayo doesn't know exactly when exactly, but she thinks about him all the time. He was very surprised, and his thoughts prompted him to act, but he did not want to use her, because she probably perceived him as a brother. Then Sayo felt that something had risen in the water and Wang apologized to her, because it was quite difficult for him to restrain himself. She said she wouldn't touch it and apologized. He hugged her and told her that it was possible to like her because he cared about her, but he didn't know if it was love or not. She assumed he didn't like her. He confessed that he likes her, but he can't take her. He hopes that she will understand her feelings and then tell him about it. Xiao was a little confused and didn't understand. That's why Wang didn't want things to go so far so quickly. She assumed that Wang didn't want to take a bath with her. When she deals with this, she will understand that it is not so easy to love a person, and then it will not be too late to start all over again. But Xiao has already figured out everything. When he left, he was glad that he was able to avoid something bad. It was very good after a hot bath. But in fact he did not know and for some reason doubted. Xiao is attentive, gentle, and also cute. She has a great body. Any man would beg her to be his girlfriend. Compared to Xiao, Xiao is 100 times better. Maybe it's because of the betrayal he experienced that he doesn't dare reciprocate Xiao's feelings. Or maybe he really likes Xiao and that's why he's a little confused. In addition, the stronger the bond, the more difficult it will be to break it. At the same time, the door opened and Xiao entered in a very erotic costume. Wang was very surprised and asked what she was doing. She assumed that Wang Bing liked such clothes and now he would not refuse her. Van admitted that he liked it, but where did she get it from? Xiao said she found it in the pile of clothes he gave them. He was a little surprised, but immediately remembered when he had been choosing the right clothes for everyone for a very long time, and then the same one recommended him to buy a sailor suit. When he saw these clothes, he thought that they would fit Xiao perfectly. Some devil pulled his hand to order them. She turned to Van and hugged him, then said that she had already figured everything out. She also added that since she met Van, she no longer has to starve and the food is always the most delicious, and most importantly, he treats her very gently and she feels safe with him. Wang didn't know what to say to her and Xiao asked him to just accept his love and kissed him. Wang Bing decided to put up with it and put her on the bed and asked her again if she was sure and if she would be sorry. But Xiao was sure until the very end and they made love. Already in the morning, after a good sleep. The next morning they set off towards the sea, but there was not a single car on the way, so they had to walk. This reminded him of the need to find more gold for upgrades. That he was able to transfer a car and energy resources to this world. A few zombies appeared from time to time during the day, but now that they had enough weapons and ammunition, they were easy to deal with. But in order not to attract more zombies with noise, they only used knives. And he found that since his skills have improved, Wang realized that he had become much more agile than before. Even Mio noticed this and asked him if he was secretly training. Wang did not deny this, because he does not want the officer to protect him all the time. Then Xiao snuggled up to him and added that Wang Bing's body is in excellent condition. Besides, he is still brave and smart. It is not surprising that she feels safe next to him. The Maya were a little surprised that they managed to get so close. Before they could look back, night fell. They reached an abandoned area and decided to rest there. In addition, this place seems to have been a rich area before, so it's good for him because he can look for some valuables here to update the system. Despite the fact that there are many villas here, he chose to stay in a hostel because it was the highest with the best view from the roof, so you could see what was going on around. Then we are shown that two are watching them. They followed them all the way, and they had such big bags in which they assumed there was a lot of food. An unknown person offered to attack, but another noticed that there were more of them and they had weapons. The first one explained that there are only 2 men among them, and one of them was a cripple. The rest are women and children. The other was glad and wanted to report this to the headman, and they ran away. At this time, Wang Bing was sleeping, and Xiao was getting dressed and went to Lai, who was lying and enjoying a cigarette. He asked her why she had come, because her fast would start at 3 o'clock, but Xiao explained that she could not sleep and came. Besides, Lai's leg has not fully recovered yet, so he needs to rest more. He apologized to her and said he wouldn't bother her. He also added that if anything happens, then let him inform everyone. Then it started to rain and she was a little surprised. She noticed that there was someone in the grass, and already there were people with guns. They noticed that there was only one person on the post, so he could act, and the others would cover him. At the same time, the headman said that they should destroy everyone and should act quickly. Xiao noticed the people's sight and realized that Wang Bing was right. Movement was coming from both sides and Xiao realized that they had surrounded them. Mio, Wang and Lai immediately appeared and asked what was outside. She counted about 20 people, but because of the rain, nothing is really visible, so she doesn't know if they have weapons or not. Wang understood that there could be much more than 20 people there. He immediately said that Mio, Xiao and he would go to each window and, if anything, open fire. Li will keep an eye on the stairs. No one should be able to sneak up on them. Li realized that he had not noticed their grass and was a little angry and said that he would definitely not let anyone to them. Nan and Bao also appeared, who also wanted to fight and help everyone else. Lai said that they were pranksters and went to protect Yang and at the same time packed their things to be ready for anything. Wang took the rifle and saw that they were all running away. He realized that they were spreading out and wanted to attack suddenly. Wang wanted to kill 1 or 2 people to scare them. At this time, the bandits shouted that there was no time to lose and he was immediately killed in the head. They realized that they had been discovered and wanted to escape. They abandoned their comrade and just ran away. Xiao was glad that they were afraid of Wang's shot and ran away. She also wanted to kill a couple of bandits, but Wang said that was not required. Van had no choice but to shoot. If the sound of a gunshot attracts a horde of zombies, we'll never get out of here. Mayo agreed with him. If they didn't bother him anymore, that was fine. Don't mess with them, they'll be out of here tomorrow morning. Xiao shouted that if they dared to return, she would kill every single one of them. Wang understood that Xiao's look looked like she was ready to eat them alive. He must never hurt her again. Otherwise I will not understand how I will die. After that, the bandits were in their shelter and did not understand how they were noticed in such darkness. The head suggested that they have high-tech weapons, such as a night vision device. The bandits understood that they could not attack at night, but also during the day, so what should they do? The head offered them an idea. There are more than 300 zombies in the west of the village. If they release them and surround them, they will be able to win. The bandit understood that this could end badly, but the head ordered him to call everyone and tell them to attract zombies in that direction. He wanted to see what they could do now. At this time, the rain had already stopped. Wang told Xiao that people would not come and she could go to rest, but she wanted to spend time with him. Then Wang added that he would never run away. She must gain strength for tomorrow. Then they heard some sounds and Wang realized that people definitely did not want to retreat. Xiao realized that they were just zombies. She took aim and killed 2 zombies. Van told her that she did a cool thing and then even more zombies went to the sounds. Wang again told Xiao to go rest, but she didn't want to. Then they heard the zombie's voice again. Van noticed that there were a lot of them in the other side too. He assumed that a recent shot had attracted zombies nearby. All the zombies were slowly approaching them. Xiao understood that they also shot until midnight, but then they were not there. She was sure that all this was the tricks of that gang and they wanted them to die here. Wang was happy about this and Xiao did not understand. The protagonist explained to her that these people are terrible, but with their intelligence they do not pose a threat to them. Now that there are so many zombies at their door, this is a great opportunity for him, Bao and Nana to practice shooting. He asked her not to worry about the time. They have enough supplies. They can't leave now, so they will stay here for a few more days to recuperate. She completely agreed with him and understood that Wang was in control of everything. Then Mayo, Lai and the children appeared and did not understand why so many zombies had suddenly come here. The elder understood that if they didn't get rid of all these zombies, they would never get out of here. Nan added that before going to bed, Wang said not to kill them and also that they should stay and practice on them. Mayo also asked them not to worry, because they won't be able to come up here so they can go to sleep in peace. The officer will look after everything, and the rest should go to bed. At that time, Wang was sleeping with Xiao. The bandits realized that they had made a cool trap and surrounded them with zombies. The head added that their stocks will not last for a long time. Sooner or later they will start killing these zombies and use up all the bullets, and then they will break into them. It's morning. Everyone woke up and Van said he had a great sleep. Nan wanted to go and train with him because there were a lot of zombies waiting for them outside. But Wang told him that he was very hungry, so they would eat first and then they would go. Van understood that those people nearby were watching them, so he wanted to let them see enough. He also said that he had not cooked for them for a long time and offered them beef with leeks. Of course they were happy. Mayo told him that even though he brought a lot of food, they were surrounded and they still had wild vegetables, so she didn't want to waste the food. Wang said there's no need to worry about groceries, and it's not just about food. At this time, the head of the gang was talking vegetable soup and promised that they would have meat soon. He no longer wanted to eat these vegetables himself and missed meat very much. Immediately, they all smelled meat, and also dried hot pepper with ginger. Wang understood that cooking, which he had learned while working part-time in college, was now beneficial. He will offer them to try this dish, which is no different from the dish of a 5-star chef. They were just in shock and could no longer restrain themselves from eating it with their bare hands. Mayo praised him and was surprised that he could cook so well. Lai also said that it was not surprising that Xiao chose him, because with such cooking, even he would have fallen in love with him. Mayo assumed that Wang Bing had specially prepared such a fragrant dish so that those people would know about it. Wang did not deny anything, and in fact he wanted to anger them. She called him a bad guy and started laughing, and Wang added that all girls love bad guys, and Xiao was a little jealous and grabbed his hand. The bandits were very angry that everyone lives in abundance, and they have to eat vegetable soup. The headman told them to calm down and not hurry, but the bandits did not understand how he could be so calm in such a situation. They've been using human flesh all this way to stay alive. They were shocked that other people could live better than them. The head understood that everyone has their own destiny. He remembered that before the post-apocalypse he had a village in which more than 300 people live. They first cultivated the land and lived in self-sufficiency. They were not rich, but they lived in warmth and satiety. They didn't expect other people to want to take their products away from them. After the zombie attack, the infection began to spread rapidly, and the number of people in their village decreased from 300 to 20 people, what they just couldn't bear to survive. He knew that they had been starving for a very long time, so now, when the meat is in front of them, they lose their composure over themselves. The head added that let them eat and drink, and they will wait for an opportunity, and then take away from them not only supplies, but also all food. Then they started shooting and the bandits got scared. The head thought that they were already going to leave soon and therefore they were spending all the bullets and victory would be for them. Nan and Bao shot at the zombies and deftly killed them. Wang was pleased with his shooting skills. Bao was a little behind him and Wang asked her to push up. Maya wondered if they would spend all the bullets that way, but Lai understood that this was a long-term investment. Then Nan killed the 10th zombie and he won the competition. Wang congratulated him on his victory and gave him a chicken leg. Nan took it and offered Bao to share it together, because they are a family and if they have something good, then they should share. Li praised him for his kindness and Wang decided to give them more prizes for their efforts during training and asked them to continue to try, and also added that they should share it all among themselves. Mayo understood that they were using up resources too quickly and did not know if they would have enough for a long time. But he asked her not to worry, because they definitely had enough. She remembered that on the first day he took everything out of his bag, and the next day his bag is full of all sorts of products again. She didn't understand how he managed to get so much food, and although she was interested, but if it was his secret, then she wouldn't dwell on it. Bao asked Wang how many zombies he was going to kill, but he asked them to keep quiet and just watch his performance. They started shooting and kept shooting until nightfall. The bandits understood that the sounds of gunfire did not stop in the morning, and that the firepower was too strong that they would be able to kill all the zombies. The leader asked them not to worry, because this way they will attract even more zombies and they will run out of ammo. After that, I show us a lot of dead zombies that were everywhere. Wang was very tired and wanted to rest. Zio offered to help him because he would be too tired alone. But Wang assured her that he could handle it himself and it would be useful for him to do it alone, because his shooting skills were growing. He has already started almost always hitting zombies in the head. Van also said that Wang is his idol, and he counted 300 zombies that he hit in the head. Van understood that for the sake of improving his skills, he had to personally kill zombies, even if he was damn tired. On the morning of the next day, everyone was doing their own thing, eating, drinking, resting, and Van kept killing zombies. The sounds of gunfire attracted a new wave of zombies, but it was just right for him. He continued to gain experience and improve his skill. Then the system congratulated him. His shooting skills were upgraded to level 4. During the last days of training, he has improved his shooting skills, and now he shoots much better than Officer Milo. Also, with the help of a bonus, he shoots as if from a sniper rifle, even from a pistol. He was under siege for 7 days and couldn't find anything of value, but he had a chance to improve his skills, so this is a great achievement. Then we are shown that Wang has brought more supplies. Everyone was shocked and already began to think that he had a magic bag. Nan already thought that they would eat plants after they had spent all the food. Mayo understood why Wang was saying they didn't need to save. This is more than enough to eat and he can come back. Wang told them to eat well and take care of themselves these 7 days. He guaranteed them that he would bring them many more useful things after 7 days. Mayo assured him that she believed him and he could be calm. Wang also explained to them that he could also bring them food for gold and precious jewelry. Now gold and jewelry are nothing compared to subsistence farming, but he has a way to make them more expensive, and he will tell them about it when the time comes. Zio assured him that she would keep any secret from him. Mayo also agreed with her, because he had helped them a lot and they would also keep his secret. The children also supported him and promised to keep everything. Wang told them that everything was fine and that they didn't need to be so serious. He would go. There were still zombies downstairs, so he asked them to watch the door so they wouldn't break in. Already in the evening, the man wanted to buy watermelons and Van reappeared in the bushes and he asked the system to move him to a certain place, and she agreed. He decided to turn on the phone and see what had happened in recent days. He had a missed call from Fei and Xing, and even from Zhao Qin. Van didn't understand why she called him and assumed that she wanted to come back to him. But he didn't want to think about her, and immediately wanted to call Sin to find out how things were going with the store. When he called them, he explained that he was leaving on business, and there was a bad signal. I also asked him if the police were looking for them, because he beat up some brother Don from the gang of Black Tigers. Therefore, they could inform the police to find them. Fei also asked him not to worry, because if they had asked for help, no one would have helped them. He also added that he and Sin were almost done with the business of the store. Van was glad to hear this and agreed to talk to them about everything tomorrow. Zhao Qin immediately called him and he agreed to talk to her. She asked him if he had shot at one of the members of the Black Tiger gang. He admitted it, but asked why she cared. Zhao just wanted to warn him. She knows that she offended him, and does not ask her to forgive. She just wanted to tell him that he made a big mistake and asked him to be careful. He realized that Li was talking to her. She admitted that he was surprised that Wang had a gun, but neither he nor the gang of black tigers are going to let him go just like that, and most likely he hired a hitman to kill him. Then she said that he had come and that's why she was hanging up. Wang did not understand why she had become so kind, but he knew that his shooting skills had reached the 4th level. However, he could not use weapons here. However, a flaming hand should be enough. He called the system and told her he wanted to play the lottery. He needed to raise the level of the flame hand, and the lottery would be the fastest way for him. And the system made a slot machine. She informed him that he had 75 kilograms of gold left and it would only be enough for one game. He wanted to play one game, and then bring 1000 kg of gold from the basement and play 10 more times. The system prompted him not to despair, because he needs 25 kilograms of gold before the next update. After updating the system, the trading house system is activated. Wang assumed that after that, he would be able to directly exchange the gold and jewelry for something he needed. And he started anyway, because he will update the system soon anyway. And on the first attempt, he got a skill book. He began to rejoice greatly and praise for his luck. With this skill, his agility greatly increased and he could jump very high and run fast. But at the same time his inner strength was spent. He didn't know what it was and the system explained to him that the inner strength is based on the attribute of intelligence. Each intelligence point is equal to 10 points of inner strength. Wang was glad, because in addition to intelligence, other attributes had also increased to a normal level. He wanted to use a new skill right now. He went outside and wanted to run to the city in a short time. The distance was 5 kilometers and he started running. While running, Wang noticed that his body had become much lighter. After that, they show us how he sat in the park and drank water. He ran 5 kilometers in 9 minutes. That is, he spent less than 2 minutes on 1 kilometer. He was glad, because with this skill he could become a champion at the Olympic Games. Then he heard how the black tigers grabbed Strick and his daughter. They were not happy that the old man was trading here. He demanded money from him rent. Wang realized that this was the gang that wanted to kill him last time. Zhang also told Jai not to scare the old man, because they would help him with the rent. When Wang saw that people were afraid of them, he realized that the black tigers had a certain reputation here. Apparently this was not the first atrocity he had committed here. Zhang told the old man that his daughter looked like one of his close sisters, but she had already grown out of her school uniform and therefore wanted to see where she grew up. The father started shouting that she was still underage and began calling him names. The girl started screaming so that the bald man would not approach her. Van got very angry and wanted to teach them a lesson. The bald man almost touched the girl's chest, but another old man stopped him, saying that a man who offends an old man and makes obscenities to a girl is not a real man at all. Zhang started shouting at him to get his hand off him, otherwise he would tear off his head, and the old man offered to try to do it. The bald man tried to do something, but he just couldn't. The bandits shouted at him to hit him and tear off his head. Even ordinary people didn't understand why he hadn't killed the old man yet, but Van was able to notice something. It's not that Zhang doesn't want to do something, he just can't. The old man asked the bald man why he stopped barking at him. Zhang ordered his friends to help him deal with the old man. One of them immediately rushed at him and hit him in the face. The old man appreciated his punch, but the skill was weak. He didn't understand why his blow to the old man's face was like a blow to cotton wool. The old man said it wasn't magic at all. Today's youth has completely forgotten about the activities of their ancestors, and it was kung fu. He hit those two and they flew away. In 2 strikes, he scattered almost all the bandits. Wang was as surprised as everyone else that this elderly man possessed such incredible strength. The bandits immediately took out knives and wanted to show him how cruel they could be. They immediately attacked him, but the old man easily dodged all the blows and immediately hit the bandit with his palm that his teeth flew out. The bald man at that moment tried to stab him in the head with a knife, but he knocked out his knife and just twisted his arm and threw it at another bandit. The bald man grabbed a chair and wanted to hit him with words so that he would die. The old man was surprised that he could still crawl. Wang Bing immediately intervened in the fight and used a fiery hand and hit the bald gopnik with it. The old man was surprised with the fact that he knows the Shaolin technique of the highest class. The master was shocked. This guy is very young and already has such great strength. The bald man fell to the ground. People started admiring him and shouting that he was a good fellow and taught this trash a lesson. Wang asked the master if he was okay. Everything was fine with the old man. He noticed that he had very good abilities. The man and his daughter thanked him for saving them. They were very grateful. They wanted to repay him somehow, but the old man didn't need anything. Van intervened in the conversation with the words that they had strayed from them today, but he understood that they would not just leave it like that. Therefore, he asked them not to trade here anymore. And the man certainly agrees with this. The bandits began to run away from there with the words that they did not expect the master to appear here. The bald man shouted to his partners to wait for him and not leave him here alone. Immediately, Wang was behind him and said that he wasn't done with him yet, so he wouldn't be able to escape. The shaved man was very scared and asked him not to beat him anymore, but Van just laughed. He understood that this time he humiliated them, and they would definitely come after him, so he wanted to scare them. Wang knows that the influence of the black tiger is strong here, but he asked how it is possible to offend people so much. The bald man replied that he had taught him a lesson and he would no longer. He decided to find out which group he was from. Van thought that he wanted to report them to his own, but the bald man denied everything. Wang replied that he did not belong to any group, but he should remember him. Immediately, the protagonist wrapped himself up and asked the old man what his name was, to which the master replied that the bald man was not yet old enough to hear his name, so he would say it when he left. Wang ordered the bald man to get out quickly, and of course he understood everything. Immediately, the bandit thought that Wang Bing had already fought with Dawn. He heard that he not only put everyone down, but also fired a pistol at Dawn. Now he is in the hospital. He didn't expect that he could meet the one they fought with last time, so running away is the best strategy. Wang called the bald man again and he thought that Wang wanted to ask for something, but Wang asked him if he was deaf or pretending not to hear him. The bald man didn't understand what he was talking about a little, and Wang started yelling for him to get out of here, but the bald one is still here. He was very scared and replied that he was already leaving. People around laughed and did not believe that the day would come when they would leave here. They considered them heroes. A man immediately turned to Wang, saying that the gang of black tigers would not let him go just like that, so he should immediately leave here. The other guy also agreed with him. Wang thanked them for their concern, so he wanted to go. The old man turned to him and asked if his name was Wang Bing. The old man asked if he would like to keep him company and have a cup of tea with him. The protagonist, of course, was glad of such an offer and considered it a great opportunity to get acquainted. Then they were already sitting at the table and drinking tea. The old man noticed that he was at the second level of the practice of the fiery hand technique, so he decided to ask how old he was. Wang realized that he was a real master. He was able to find out exactly what level he was at. Wang admitted that he is 21 years old and a first-year student. The old man was delighted that at 21 he already owned such a technique, but Wang admired him in return, because he is at the top of the perfection of Taejequan. The old man said that he had a modest request and asked if he would agree to fulfill it. Wang replied that no matter what he asked of him, he would do everything in his power. The old man wanted to compare his Taejequan and his fiery hand. Wang understood that his flaming hand was too chaotic, so he might accidentally injure him. The old man assured him that Taejequan is not just called the best, so he will not be able to hurt him. He asked him not to overdo it, he just wanted to show each other his skills, and Wang agreed with that. Getting up from the table, Wang felt a special aura around him. He also wanted to face off with him. If it comes to the extreme, then he must use all his strength. The old man told the protagonist to start first. Wang replied that he should start, because he was afraid that. But before he could finish, the old man interrupted him and replied that if he started, then Wang would not have any chance later, so only after him. The old man assured him again that he would not be able to hurt him. Wang agreed and added that he would not stand on ceremony. His hand started to burn and he ran at the old man. The protagonist decided to start with 30% of his strength. A moment later, Wang was already at the old man's side, but the master immediately repelled his blow and then grabbed his hand. Wang understood that he was too fast. He couldn't even follow his movements. Immediately, the old man punched Wang in the stomach. Van staggered away from him. The protagonist was surprised that with just one blow, and quite easily, the old man was able to throw him back a few meters. Wang realized that he was a real master. He assumed that he was only using a small fraction of the force, otherwise he would have been lying on the ground for a long time. The old man admitted that using softness to defeat the hard. This is the strength of Taejequan. He added that if Wang thought he had the last makings of strength left in him, then he was wrong. Wang apologized for being arrogant. Now he won't neglect him. He's using all his power. The old man was glad that he understood him correctly. Van approached him and asked him to give him as much useful advice as possible. The old man stood up and began to glow. Van jumped right at him. After we are shown how. After the battle, Wang and the old man drank tea. The master said that he really liked the fight. Wang was covered in bruises and he thanked him for his instructions. The master replied that he was young, but still managed to reach such a level with the help of inner strength. This suggests that Wang is a very capable fellow, but he lacks dexterity. Only then would he be able to injure the old man. He has little experience. If he wants to use this technique 100%, then he needs more practice in real combat. Wang, laughing, thanked him for his advice. He added that he had one request after this fight. The old man was interested in what he wanted from him. The protagonist really wanted him to teach him Taejequan. He hoped that he would accept him into the ranks of his disciples. The old man was surprised that he had not yet learned the fiery hand to the end, and he already wants to learn Taejequan. He asked if he was afraid that it would slow down the practice of the fiery hand. Wang assured him that he would not give up the occupation of the fiery hand at all. He learned that the flaming hand technique, although very strong, however, in a fight with a strong opponent, even this technique will not help him win. Taejequan is different in that it can be used to attack and retreat, and it can also be used to fight with a huge force. Wang is sure that Taejequan will really be able to make up for the shortcomings of the fiery hand, so you can no longer be afraid of harming other people. The old man agreed with his opinion. The flaming hand is an excellent martial art, but it is also a Buddhist martial art that contains a spirit of compassion. Many, having such power, begin to be self-willed, but Wang understands the essence of his power and is afraid to harm others. This speaks of Wang's good nature, so he wants to take him as his disciple. Van was surprised and was incredibly happy about it. He thanked him greatly for his decision and fell to his knees, but the master wanted him to get up. He didn't expect to meet such an amazing student during the walk. He asked him to get up again, because he needed to talk to him. The master sat on the barrel and said that his name was Lai Zhang. His fist-fighting technique is passed down from generation to generation in their family. He usually doesn't divulge it. Wang was surprised by this and realized that Lai Zhang trusted him. Wang asked him not to worry, because he would try hard and would not let him down. The old man said that how much he can learn depends on his ability, but if after training he starts doing mean things, then he will make him regret it. Wang was scared and felt a powerful aura. He understood that the teacher was very harsh, so he should not disappoint him. Wang assured that he would never do anything that would disgrace the teacher and would always act in good faith. Lai Zhang replied that he was glad and that he would not be nervous around him. He asked him to bring him a cup of tea first, and that would be his homage. Wang replied that he would bring him tea quickly, but the teacher asked him not to hurry. He was so happy, as if he had found a gold ingot on the way. But it is a great honor for Wang to become his disciple. He was immensely glad. After we are shown how Van was walking with his friends, they didn't understand if Wang really wanted to buy them a luxury car, to which the protagonist replied that with the purchase of the car, their work efficiency will increase. Besides, they are shareholders of the company. They need to match their position. A friend decided to find out what kind of car he wants for himself, but Van has already decided everything. He wants to buy a minibus. This is a great option for him. A friend was shocked that he wanted to buy them a luxury car, but to buy himself just a minibus. He assumed that Wang was crazy because he suddenly got rich, but Wang explained that he had his own personal reasons. The most suitable car for Zio and the others is a minibus. They will definitely be delighted. Van saw the store and said it wasn't bad. It is cars of different brands. They decided to go in there and immediately saw an SUV that was very cool and expensive. Another friend admitted that if Van wasn't around, he wouldn't have had the courage to come here. Van drew attention to the fact that, as the girl screamed at the guy, she was not happy that he had to constantly repeat that no matter where she is, when a rich client comes, he should call her. The guy replied to her that she herself told him that when she was resting, no matter what business, no one should bother her. The girl was very angry and pointed at him with her finger, saying that she never shirks from work. The guy was still on probation, so he could easily be fired. She added that if she finds out again that he served a rich client, she will deal with him. The employee asked her goodbye and replied that this would not happen again. Wang was not happy with the fact that if a rich client comes, then an old man should serve him and not a new one. Wang apologized for the trouble and said that he and his friends wanted to know the characteristics of each car, so he wanted a consultation. In the background, the guys were photographed with the car, and the girl started shouting at them saying that this car is too expensive for them. The new employee understood that they were finished now. The girl continued to shout at them to remove their hands, because they still will not be able to compensate for the damage caused. They immediately apologized and added that they didn't do it on purpose. Then she decided to examine Wang carefully. She looked at his red hoodie and didn't understand what brand it was. His trousers were ordinary, which he bought somewhere on the counter. The shoes fit well with the clothes, but also has the usual style. The girl replied that he was an ordinary student. They don't sell bicycles here. They sell luxury cars for over 1,000,000 yuan. Van was angry, because the girl thought that he did not know what they were selling here and that he would not be able to buy it. The girl agreed that he would know better if he could buy or not, but asked not to touch the cars. They still won't be able to recover the losses if they ruin the car. When she left, she ordered Lee to consult these clients and not to blame her for the fact that if he did not complete the NOMA for this month, he would leave this job. Lee asked Wang to calm down, because she is always like this. He added that he did not take her words to heart. Wang noticed that she said that if his results did not meet the norm, he would be fired. He wanted to know how things were going for him now. Lee admitted that his results are a little deplorable. Wang told him not to worry, and that if he consulted them well, they would help him reach normality. Lee was very happy and agreed. He showed a 4-door CLS sports car. Its price started at $630,000. Van thought this car was very beautiful. Even one of his friends wanted to take a picture of it. Another friend said he didn't think they needed to buy such an expensive car just to match their status, as long as they are honest and trustworthy. They want to do business quietly and they don't need a luxury car for that. Van agreed with him, and therefore wanted to look at other cars. Wang told Lai that this car was too cheap, so he wanted to look at more expensive cars. Friends were shocked with his decision. Immediately, Wang called his friends. He hugged them and told them they didn't have to worry about money. They have always treated him well. They are his best friends, so he will never forget their attitude towards him. And now it's his turn to pay them for their care. Therefore, they should not refuse. Friends began to cry from his words, and Wang continued to say, "This money is just a trifle. After that, he will help them earn more money and become billionaires." Friends started hugging and saying they were best friends forever. Even Lee started crying at their words. He envied their friendship, but he didn't know if they could really buy such an expensive car. After Lee showed a 4-door Mercedes AMG GT sports car, its price is $970,000. Wang liked this model, but $970,000 was too cheap for him. He asked if there was a sports car that cost more than $1 million. Lee was shocked and replied that there was one. He presented them with the most expensive car from this series. Her friends liked her very much, and therefore Wang invited them to test her. Lee opened the doors and said they could really test her. Van's friend got into the car and he was very comfortable. He believed that a high-class car was really on another level and suggested that they try it. Another friend also wanted to get acquainted with it, because apart from his father's car, he had never driven such a high-class car. Wang asked how much such a car costs, and Lee replied that $2.30.00. The friend was shocked by the price. The other was also not happy that he had not told him about the price earlier. If he knew how much it cost, he would not have gone into it. Immediately a girl came up to them with the words, "What are they doing here?" And Van was thinking that the price of this car would do. She doubted that they wouldn't be able to buy any car here. She ordered them to get out of here. She wanted them to pay compensation for the damage to the car. A friend in the car said he just sat in it for a while, and that you shouldn't be so angry about it. Van hit the car and replied that it was okay and that he just continued to watch the car. He will deal with this sycophant. The friend did not know if everything would be fine. The girl asked Lee how it happened. He should have realized that they wouldn't be able to buy such a luxury car, and he should have shown them cheap cars. She was angry that he let them get into a supercar worth several million. She screamed at him that he was too stupid. Lee replied that they were their customers and should serve them. Hong told the girl that it wasn't very respectful of her. She replied that they were ordinary students without money who came here and ruined sports cars. She told them to leave or she would call security. Hong was not happy with her attitude towards customers. They should be like gods to her. He wanted to file a complaint against her, but Wang asked him not to be angry. If she wants to call security, then let her do it. Hong was angry that she changed her attitude towards people depending on their social status, so he was angry. Wang asked him to calm down again. He wanted to see what the guards would do. 2 guards immediately appeared and the girl said that these assholes did not want to leave here and asked to consult them. She ordered them to get them out of the store immediately. Lee tried to intervene because they are their clients, but the girl did not listen to him. The guards told them that they were not welcome here, so they had to leave, and if they did not want to do good, then it would be bad. Hong was even more angry and replied that he would not leave. He told them that they couldn't budge, so if they wanted to, they could try to budge them. Van was familiar with the situation. The guard was surprised that he was also daring them and wanted to force them to leave this place. The guard started pushing Wang and he immediately got angry, and he hit 2 at once and they flew away a few meters. Hong was shocked that he had become so strong. Another friend was happy and managed to take everything on the phone. The guards were lying on the floor and the girl was surprised that he dared to hit their employees. She was very angry at them and wanted to make them pay for the losses right away. If they don't pay, they'll call the police. Immediately, Wang threw a gold bar and asked if it was enough to make up for the losses. Besides, they started it all first. Van and his friends came here to buy a car, and the girl immediately called security from nowhere and is now bothering them. He told her to call the police because they have nothing to fear, because his friend filmed everything that was happening here. The girl started laughing and thought that they had read a lot of detectives and that she would not fall for their cheap tricks. The guard picked up the ingot and said it was real. The girl was shocked and thought that they really were the children of the rich, but in simple clothes. Wang told Xin and Fei that no matter which customer comes to their future store, they will always treat everyone the same. His friends assured him that they would never be like this sycophant. He told her that he would teach her one lesson. If she does not change her attitude towards customers, then in the future the reputation of their store will deteriorate. She replied that these were just empty threats. Their store does not welcome customers like them. Lee decided to intervene because it was already too much. She was not happy with his behavior because he was on their side. She wanted to contact the central store so that they would fire him. Lee replied that there was no need to do this because he himself was leaving. She was glad of this and added that he would not think of working in the 4S store anymore. Lee added that he always thought he could do his job well and take care of clients and giving them professional advice. But if the only way to improve his job is to become like her, then he decided that he would change his career. The girl started shouting at him, and Wang and his friends started laughing. Wang asked him to wait, because he still needs to buy a car, and so he asked him to advise him. But Lee apologized to him, because he is no longer an employee of this store, so he will not be able to advise him. Wang replied that there are rats in every place. The most important thing here is that he does not want to become the same person. The girl was outraged by his words, and Wang continued. He needed 3 cars from this series. Each should have a first-class equipment, and each car should be a different color. Lee was shocked by this information. The girl thought that he was just showing off, because one such car costs more than $2 million, and he talks about 3 cars. He told her to give him the company's bank account number and he would transfer the money right away. Xing told her to wait for the moment when they would inform the company about her disrespectful attitude towards customers, and then she would be fired. She started shouting that if she found out that they were cheating on her, she would immediately call the police and she would deal with them. Immediately they received $7 million into their account. She was surprised and decided to look at it herself. The sender was Wang Bing, and she realized that it was all true. She was shocked that they transferred the entire amount of deductions. She understood that this amount would be enough for her to pay the loan. He called Lee to help them fill out their documents for the car, and he agreed. Immediately, the girl congratulated them on becoming a VIP customer of their store. She unbuttoned her shirt a little and apologized for insulting them. She hoped for their generosity and assured that from now on she would treat every client well. Wang realized that she had only just realized her mistake, but it was already too late. Sin was not happy with the fact that when she saw the money, she immediately changed. It's not sincere at all. They didn't want to forgive her. Faye wanted to file a complaint against her. The girl asked not to do this, because if the authorities find out that a VIP client has filed a complaint against her, she will lose her official position. She asked them to be generous. She begged to be spared, because she was ready to do anything. Wang was surprised by her words, and she unbuttoned her shirt even more and replied that she would do whatever he asked. Wang told her to give all the director's deductions from the sale of these cars to this guy. Lee was surprised by his words and started crying. Wang added that he would see to it until the end, and that she did not think of playing with him and did not think of putting him in a difficult position, otherwise the consequences would be bad. She started crying and agreed with him. She was sad to lose more than $100,000. Van leaving said that he was watching her, and the girl fell to the floor and replied that she understood everything. Right there they show us the way. The friends were driving their 3 new cars. They were very happy, and immediately friends started calling Van. He asked Faye what he wanted, and Sin replied that he was very cool. He noticed that after parting with Zhao Qin, Wang seemed to have become a different person. The protagonist admitted it really because of the experience. If he started arguing with them, then how would he differ from them? But in fact, he did not want anyone to see his fiery hand, and therefore imperceptibly changed the subject. Friends were driving at high speed, and Faye noticed that there were also 2 supercars ahead. Sin replied that he should forget about it, because they need to meet with a jeweler. He wanted to hurry up and overtake them, and the other 2 agreed, and all 3 sped up a lot. They started to leave. The guy in the red car told Kyan that the 3 cars behind them wanted to overtake them, so he wanted to play with them. Immediately, he stepped on the gas and started driving even faster. Faye realized that the 2 cars wanted to match them. Sin decided to make a bet with them who is who. He told Faye and Wang to speed up and overtake them as well. Wang asked them to take their time and asked how long it had been since they had driven a car. Faye admitted that he drove Dad's car several times during the holidays, and Sin had almost the same thing. Van realized that it was not worth playing with death. Now they should not be compared to those majors. All 3 released the gas and the cars began to rapidly lose speed. His friends agreed with him. Xing understood that sudden wealth made them act impulsively. 2 rich guys didn't understand why those 3 cars weren't chasing them. Kang was thinking that the cars don't have license plates yet, which means most likely it's the employees who take these cars to the store. The major understood that stores could not launch them until they were sold. Kang was surprised that these cars had just been bought. The major was thinking that maybe they haven't gotten used to cars yet. That's why they don't accelerate. And also that since they were able to buy 3 such luxury cars, they were definitely not ordinary people, and that's why he wanted to get to know them. They gradually began to slow down. Xing told Wang that they were slowing down and approaching them. Van heard him, and he was wondering what they wanted to do. The guy was opposite Van and he told him that there was a gas station ahead and he wanted to stop there and get acquainted, and Wang agreed with him. After that, they show us the gas station where there were beautiful sports cars. People were shocked by how beautiful they were and therefore wanted to take pictures of them to post on Instagram. Then, when the guy came out, Van and his friends came up to him and asked why he needed them. Liu replied that he just wanted to be friends with them. He introduced himself and his friend, whose name is Zhang Wang. Wang Bing also introduced himself and his friends in response. After shaking hands, Liu asked, since they have the same cars, whether they plan to create some kind of automobile group. In addition, many rich people here prefer Ferrari or Porsche, and they preferred Mercedes-Benz. Wang explained this by saying that they just wanted to satisfy their aspirations and prove themselves. Liu was surprised that they wanted to satisfy their aspirations with such expensive cars. Zhang also said that he did not drive a Mercedes-Benz and therefore asked what it was like to drive such a car. Van decided to throw him the keys so that he could try it out himself. Zhang caught them and Wang added that a good car or not, until you try it yourself, you won't know. Zhang was surprised that Wang wanted him to take a ride in his car. The protagonist believed that there was nothing wrong with this, because he knows how to drive a sports car. Liu noticed that people usually say that you do not need to give your beloved car and woman into the hands of others. He did not expect that he would be so generous. Zhang also said that Liu's Ferrari is worth 5-6 million, so if he ruins Wang's car, the protagonist will be able to take his car to compensate for the losses. Liu shouted that Zhang was a fraud. Then he added that Wang could drive his Ferrari, and he would drive Zhang's car. Van agreed, because he wanted to try to ride a Ferrari. The friend added that they immediately exchanged cars on the spot. Today they met unique people, and therefore wanted to have lunch together. During the conversation, they learned that Liu and Zhang are not ordinary rich people, but children of famous families who have serious wealth and great power. But these two were not as problematic and dissolute as they usually show in movies and TV series. They were also not arrogant, but on the contrary very simple. Everyone was happy and enjoyed a joint lunch. After learning that they were still students and that they were going to open a jewelry store, they expressed their admiration. Liu told Wang that he admired them and was extremely interested in their business. He wanted to exchange phone numbers. Now, if they need help or have any interesting ideas, then he can contact them. He looks forward to working with them. Van agreed with him and they exchanged numbers. This time he has prepared not only food in large quantities, but also a minibus, which will accommodate all of them. He didn't know how they spent those 7 days. Besides, there were a lot of zombies. Wang told the system to move it all into the system space. Immediately, we are shown how Van moved to another dimension. Van woke up in a full bath and he asked the system if it had moved him here on purpose. The system explained that the landing point is set according to where he subconsciously wants to land. It does not depend on her desire. Wang was not happy with this, because of the system, he got all wet. Leaving the bath, he found Mio undressing, who was greatly embarrassed by Wang's presence. The protagonist asked her what she was doing in his room, but Mio shouted that this was her room. Zio heard Mio's scream and thought something had happened. Immediately, Wang, who was hit by Mio, entered their room. Zio was very glad that he had returned, because she had been waiting for him all the time. She hugged him and was incredibly happy, as was Wang. Immediately, Van felt a strong smell and asked what they were doing here, because he could smell the dead. The boy called Wang with him to show him something. He was sure that he would be scared. There was a mountain of corpses on the street around the house, and everything smelled of rot. Wang was surprised that there were so many dead zombies. The girl explained that her and Zio's shooting skills had improved markedly thanks to these zombies. The officer added that those guys were very scared and did not dare to attack them. All they did was attract the zombies in the neighborhood here. Wang was thinking that they had attracted all these zombies here with the hope that they would soon run out of ammunition, and only then would they attack them. Mio was not happy that he was praising their enemies, because this pile of corpses stinks insanely. If they didn't have to wait for him, they would have left here long ago. Wang wanted to apologize to her, but she interrupted him with the words that he could not speak. Although she does not know how he ended up in her room, she is sure that it was not on purpose. Zio asked Wang if they could leave this place already. Wang replied to her that everyone should prepare their things, because today at dawn they would leave this place. At this time, the bandits were not happy with the fact that 7 days had already passed, and they were still holding on. The bald man told the headman that they had attracted these zombies in the neighborhood, risking the lives of their people, but what should they do now? The guys thought they had an ammunition depot there. Their cartridges never run out. The headman understood that they had a lot more supplies than they thought, and now there is no certainty about what they can throw away. And there are no zombies left in the neighborhood. He knows they're all starting to worry, but don't panic. He told them to keep attracting zombies, even if they still have ammo. they may end up suffocating from this strong stench. The guys were glad that the headman came up with a plan. Someone even believed that he was worthy of the title of spiritual leader. Everyone began to rejoice and raise their morale. Already in the evening, Wang thought that these clothes were very becoming to Xiao. She wore beautiful night clothes especially for the protagonist. She believed that the most important thing was that he liked it. She approached him and beckoned. Then they exchanged saliva and they started doing it. Xiao shouted that she was in pain, and Wang assured her that he would be very gentle. At that time, Mayo was lying under the blanket and Wang told Xiao to be quiet, because Officer Mayo in the next room could hear them. But Mayo was very confused and thought that she had already heard everything. The next morning, we are shown bandits who were closely watching Wang's group. The supervisor was surprised by what was happening there and he shouted for the headman to look at it faster. He was at a loss about what was going on there, that he was so excited. They had a car and they are leaving in it. He didn't understand where they got such a luxury as gasoline. The guy didn't know if they should follow them. The headman replied that of course they should follow them because they could even get gasoline. But the guys weren't sure about it and asked if they could just leave them. After all, even if they chase after them, they still won't be able to defeat them. The headman replied that if so, they could go to the place where they lived and search everything there. He hoped that they could find the remaining supplies that they had inadvertently forgotten. After they show us a guy in a suit, he was very scared. He looked at the zombie girl and then he looked at her. Both of these zombies fell in love with each other. They went for each other. The guy was standing on the road, and he is immediately hit by a car that his head flew off. Mayo in the car told Wang that she had not driven a car for a long time, so she wanted to change. But Wang asked her not to worry because she can drive as she wants. He also drove a car only 2 times. Xiao asked the officer if he was okay, and the man explained that he was fine, but he hadn't been in the car for a long time, so he couldn't get used to it. At that moment, the boy decided to ask Wang Bing. Those people not only wanted to attack them, but also attracted zombies so that they spent all the bullets, but they still left them rice. The boy wanted to kill each of them, and they leave them gifts. Wang asked him to calm down. He explained it in such a way that if they had not attracted zombies, then how else would they have been able to improve their shooting skills? Besides, those bags of rice are nothing to him. The girl realized that in this way he wanted to repay them. Lee suggested that he just felt sorry for them because he is so kind-hearted. Mayo intervened in the conversation and said that these are Wang's bags, so he can do whatever he wants. At that moment, the bandits were in the building and they called the headman. There were 2 bags of rice and everyone was surprised. The bald man did not understand why there were so many of them and assumed that they had forgotten to pick them up. The headman did not believe this because rice is very valuable. He understood that no one would forget him. The guy suggested that maybe they put poison in these bags of rice and specially left for them. The headman understood that they had so many weapons. If they wanted to kill them, they wouldn't resort to such tricks. The guy took the bag and said that even if it was poisonous, he was still ready to eat rice because he hadn't eaten it for so long. The headman agreed and added that they should light the fire as soon as possible because now they will cook. He, in turn, understood that they had wishful thinking. Those people absolutely would not have let them go just like that. The boy was very angry when he remembered them. Wang told Nan to calm down and wanted to tell him one funny thing. Wang mixed something into this rice. Nan thought about poison, but Wang pointed his finger at him to keep quiet. It was one kind of laxative. Nan started laughing with his work. Wang added that he did it because they wanted the zombies to bite them. Mayo asked them what they were laughing at, but Wang denied everything, so they went to the gathering place. The highway was filled with abandoned cars, so they only wanted to drive along the path. Sometimes they rode along the path, and sometimes on the road, so overall their journey was very slow. According to Lee, they had to travel through one city to get to the gathering place. Because they didn't know the situation in that city, they were a little worried. In the evening they made a halt, pitched a tent, and decided to rest. Officer Mayo and Xiao guarded them so that no unforeseen situations would happen. And in the afternoon, after making the last round, they rested. Well, they, overcome with joy, imagined what the gathering place would be like. After a long drive, they finally arrived at the gathering place. Well, I told Wang to pay attention to something. When they got out of the car, they saw the ruined city and Wang realized that Lee was right about the location. On the way, they arrived at the border of a small town where people seemed to live. By evening, they had all set up camp and gathered around the campfire. Xiao asked if Qi and Nan had already fallen asleep, to which the girl replied that they were already sleeping peacefully. Then she asked Mayo where Wang was now. She thought he had gone to the side of the highway to inspect the situation. He's thinking about whether to enter the city. Van stood on the road and wondered whether it was worth going to the city because they still don't know what the situation is there. Besides, they don't know if it's dangerous there or not. Van didn't understand why he was thinking, because he could just go to the city and that's it. Lee told him that there were a lot of them, and that if they entered the city they would run into trouble. Therefore, Wang is carefully considering everything. Nan immediately realized that it was not worth entering the city and asked if there was any work around. Zio knew that Wang wanted to enter that city for the gold, to which Officer Mayo replied to her that their food did not come from nowhere. It's all thanks to Wang Bing's gold and jewelry. Therefore, the protagonist really needs gold. In fact, Mayo also wants to help him because it has to do with the welfare of their people, but before she could finish, Nan interrupted her with the words that Zio had talked to Wang. He also wants to go to the city with him and help him collect gold, because what will they do if Van gets into danger and they find out about it late? Besides, they are no longer beginners, and they have weapons, so they have nothing to fear. Lee called him a prankster and added that he had become much bolder. He asked Zio to talk to Wang so that she would tell him that there would be no problems with their protection. He didn't want Wang to worry about it. Zio also said that no matter what decision Wang makes, he will always follow him and will always be by his side. She turned to Mayo with the words that she could calmly go and persuade him, and it was not worth thinking about it so much. Mayo agreed with him, since they also agree. At this time, Wang was thinking about everything alone, and although he wants to update the system as soon as possible, he still does not know whether there is gold in this city or not. Besides, if he happens to meet that local head of a gang of wild sharks, it will be problematic. But he still understood that it was very important to update the system, but still Zio and the others were more important to him. He can't risk them. Nevertheless, he decided that when he arrived at the gathering place, he would try to exchange food for gold. Immediately, girls appeared behind Van. He told them that they were just in time, because he wanted to talk to them. He decided that they would go the roundabout way, because everyone's safety is above all. Mayo asked if this was what he had been thinking about all night. Zio thought Wang was very cute. He did not understand what it was and considered them somehow strange. Mayo explained that they had all conferred and all supported him to go to the city and they wanted to help him in the search for gold. Wang understood that entering the city was too dangerous, and he didn't want to take any chances. Zio replied that they all knew this, but Officer Mayo had already planned everything out. First, they would find a safe place and leave Lai and the small children there, and she and Officer Mayo would go with Wang to the city to find out the situation there. Mayo immediately asked if he would be so calm, to which Wang replied that Lai was wounded in the leg, and both Bao and Nan were still small and he could not leave them. Mayo added that thanks to the latest event, Bao and Nan have succeeded in shooting so they will be able to protect themselves and everyone. Wang tried to say something, but Mayo put her hand on him and said that there were no buts, because from the very beginning he helped them and trained them. They are already ready to fight with him. Now they are not such simple survivors. They will not be easy to cope with. They are all one family and they will go through all the hardships together, so Van's affairs are their common affairs. Van was glad of these words and even got a little excited. Zio agreed with her, because no matter what happens, they will always be by his side and will never leave him. He thanked them and apologized for the extra trouble. Wang immediately came to the camp and Lee asked him why he was so joyful. Wang replied that he was just in a good mood today. He added that they should all rest today, and asked if they wanted him to play on something. He opened his briefcase and there was a guitar lying there. Nan was surprised that Wang could play it. He learned when he was pursuing Zhao Chen, and he did not expect that he would still need it. Mayo didn't expect Wang to have multiple abilities. On the dark deserted highway, his hair was blown by a cold wind. The warm smell of grass was felt in the air. Not far ahead he saw a flashing light. He felt tired and sleepy, so he had to stop for the night. She was standing on the threshold. He heard the bell ringing and thought to himself, it's either heaven or hell. Then she lit a candle and showed him the way. There were voices in the hallway. I think they were saying, "Welcome to the California Hotel. Such a beautiful place, such a beautiful face. A free room at the California Hotel at any time of the year. At any time of the year, you will always find here." In the morning, when Wang sang the song, he told the others that they were going. Nan assured everyone that he would protect everyone, so he didn't have to worry. He added that Wang and Mayo should return soon, because she would miss them. Mayo told her not to worry, because they would be back soon and they would see them soon. Immediately, Wang took out cigarettes for Lee. He advised him to hide them and not rush to enjoy.